the one. It's time to get up and get your day started. It's Sports 56 mornings with Greg Gaston and Eliza Boy on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now, here are your hosts, Greg and Eli.
Well, the sports world did not disappoint yesterday as advertised. We previewed it yesterday on the program, talked about all the things that were going on Thursday, and boy, oh boy, was it a heck of a sports day. We welcome you into Sports 56 mornings on this Friday, March 28th, 2025. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you. We're broadcasting live. We're live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, that's where family and fun come together. Their first ever preseason pool spa patio event still going on right now at Family Leisure. When you stop by this weekend, register to win either a free pool spa or patio set. That's a good deal. Just register to win. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. That is just north of I-40. Well, we got a busy show. Before we get to what's on tap for today, let me tell you about the weather. Currently 63 degrees. Looking at a high of 82, although the clouds will be rolling in. Not much of a chance of precipitation, at least from the forecast I'm looking at right now. But then overnight, there could be occasional showers into Friday, 64 for your high. And then Saturday and Sunday looks to be hit and miss as far as the weather is concerned. Looks like rain on Saturday, maybe some late rain and thunderstorms Sunday night. But again, that is always changing, or at least evolving as the hours go by. On the program today, we will talk Grizzlies. Grizzlies last night for at least 3 quarters and change, hung in there with the Thunder, and then Oklahoma City put one into another gear, and they ended up winning by 21 over the Grizzlies. We will discuss that. The Grizzlies now return home for 3 big ones, Saturday, Monday, and Tuesday. We'll, of course, talk NCAA tournament. Sweet 16 action got underway yesterday with some doozies. 4 more games on tap for today. Oh, by the way, we do finally have a bit of an injury update on Ja Morant. Also, Major League Baseball opening day yesterday. We'll go over some of the highlights of some of the games that were played. Everybody was in action yesterday, with the exception of Colorado and Tampa Bay. They will play today, along with a bunch of other games. So baseball is here, ready or not. We'll have 10 in a row, the game show that has swept the nation. That'll come your way at 9:05 today. And as far as our guest brigade, John Varlas at 7:25. We will wrap up the Tiger basketball report for another season with the Professor Matt Dillon at 8:25. And you know him, you love him, you can't live without him. Brandon Lang, handicapper extraordinaire. He'll join us at 9:25. We will have plenty of time to take your calls and texts on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines at 901-360-8255. We'll give you the latest as far as the college basketball coaching carousel is concerned, portal news as well, spring football news. It's all coming up on the program today. Good morning.
Good morning.
I would assume maybe you got a chance to watch the later games last night in the second half, because you were obviously calling the hustle game. Did you get back to see any of that, or was it over by the time you got home?
Oh no, I saw. I saw the 2 late games. So a lot of them. So it was some good stuff. Obviously, that Arkansas Texas Tech game was a very interesting finish.
Well, I'll put it to you this way: I'm bored. I was actually bored of gambling. Really, I was bored. I was gambling not much money. Again, I was doing it off the winnings that I had, so it was no big deal. People don't have to worry about me. They don't have to give me a 1-800 number or anything like that. It was just little here, little there. And then finally I was like, you know what? I'm just bored of this stuff. So I took what was left in my account, and I made 2 bets yesterday. And now I'm officially retired. I'm not gambling, because I had half of it on Scottie Pippen to get 8 assists. And the dude is having a great game. Like I said, he is undervalued. He was on his way to a triple-double. He has 7 assists, and the game is tied, 99 apiece. And I'm thinking to myself, he is getting another assist. There's no question about it. And then in a blink of an eye, the Grizzlies were down 15, and then he ends up being taken out of the game late, He doesn't get the 8 assists. So I was mad. The other bet I had was Arkansas. Sorry, Elijah. I went with Arkansas. I had a good feeling about it. They're cruising along. I go to bed. I'm tired. I get up early. They had a double-digit lead. They lose in overtime. So that's it. I'm done.
But they covered the spread.
No, I bet them money line.
Okay.
I took a shot.
Interesting.
Well, Arkansas's loaded with talent. And the talent
Why didn't you bet the over the Alabama BYU game?
Because I'm an idiot. I just completely forgot. I got caught up with other stuff. I forgot to bet that. That was the easiest bet on the board, and because I kept thinking, do I want to bet Maryland? I really couldn't buy. They're my school, but I couldn't buy into the fact that they were going to not only not win the game, but not cover. And I was right, but I wasn't going to bet against them. I knew Florida was going to win and Florida was going to cover, and it was close for the first half. But I'm not betting against my school. That's not happening. There's two things I don't do. I don't play anything with Memphis, and I do not bet against Maryland. And so I just let that one go. Completely forgetting about the over-under in the Bama-BYU game, which would have been the cure to all my ills. So instead, now I'm scurrying. I'm looking, okay, Grizzlies, Pippen's been on a roll. Let me do that. Instead of going 8 or more rebounds, I do the assists. He gets 10 rebounds. He has a double-double. He's great. And then, so I'm not even mad at that one so much because Scottie Pippen has been a blessing, to be honest with you. And then there was the game that I thought I had won when I went to bed. So you're lucky, Elijah Seegers. Your pick to win it all escapes.
Yes, they do. And you know what's funny, Greg? Even when they were down 16, my brother texted me. He said, "Rest in peace, your Red Raiders." You know what I told him? I told him no. The energy in this game is about to shift. I felt it was about to shift, and boy, did it. Down 13 with 4 minutes left to go. It's the second biggest comeback in Sweet 16 history.
Was that wishful thinking, or really did you believe?
I really did, because I've watched this team, and partially what made me fall in love with this team was how even when they're in the muck, when they're not making shots, they stick with it. They really do give me Team of Destiny vibes, the way that they are able to, even when they're not shooting the ball well, they're not playing up to their standard, they stay in games and fight.
Well, you also had John Calipari on the other sideline. He's done this before. He has blown a big lead in a tournament game and had his team give up a three-pointer in the final seconds to get to overtime and then lost said game in overtime. I don't know if you know that or not, but he's done this before.
I've heard
people
about
People
it.
have probably seen this play out before with a John Calipari coach team here in Memphis.
This time it was, who was it, Darian Williams? Who was terrible the whole game long. He hits the big three. Then he hits the clutch 2 with 7 seconds to go in overtime. I mean, come on, man.
And I will say this. I don't like people talking about the fouling up three. Like the three comes with 9 seconds left. That's a little too early.
I agree.
To foul. Like you can play it out a little further. But I don't have a problem in that situation with them electing not to foul. So that one I'm not going to put on Cal of you should foul in that situation. Plus, I mean, the guy was ends up being 2 for 10 from 3-point range in the game. Mm-hmm. So I didn't necessarily think it, but it was just the work that went into blowing the lead to that point. I mean, that just you cannot. But they've done it again. That team is weird, man. They can go through some offensive lulls and things that you're just like, what in the world? With all this talent, how do they look like this? But yeah, that's a tough one. Well, our buddy Razorback Juan, who always texts into the show. I'm feeling for you, Juan, out there, but that had to be a tough one to swallow last night.
Yeah, my bank account's feeling for me, but I feel for you, Juan, as well. And we'll talk more about this game and all these games that were played last night and preview the games that are going to be played tonight a little bit later. I want to get to the Grizzlies to start things off. But just the one thing, John Calipari afterwards, he was very complimentary. He wasn't down. I'm sure he was extremely disappointed on the inside, but on the outside, he basically talked about having some of the most fun he's had as a coach with this team, a team that really struggled early just to get to the point where they were battling again in the SEC, making noise, and then getting themselves in a position to get in at large, which they did, to get to the Sweet 16. So again, I'm sure he's not completely satisfied, not with blowing a big lead like he did last night, but the fact that they were in that position, I think he was extremely happy because that's what he said. And I'm going to take him for the full value of the words that came out of his mouth, that while probably on the inside, yes, how do we lose a double-digit lead, but certainly a team that early in conference play was not in position to be an NCAA tournament team. They were, I think, 0-5 to start the SEC campaign. So the SEC gets 2 teams from last night into the Elite Eight, and we'll see what happens tonight, where they will have how many teams in action? 3? 2 playing each other. Tennessee and Kentucky. Ole Miss is playing Michigan State.
They have, in
Auburn.
Yeah, they got 4 in action. We know they're getting 1 more in the Elite Eight because of Tennessee, Kentucky. We'll see how many others they get in beyond that.
All right, so Grizzlies last night against Oklahoma City, and that was one we had all written off as an L, and it ends up being an L. However, the way it got there was interesting. For 3+ quarters, the Grizzlies were going toe-to-toe with the Thunder. And that's the Thunder with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Jalen Williams, and these guys were playing. And it was tied at 99 in the fourth quarter.
Grizzlies were up 99-97.
There you go, even worse. Blink of an eye. So I guess that would be a 28-5 run, down 99-90, or up 99-97. It ends up being 125-104. So I think that's a 28-5 run for Oklahoma City to end the game. I mean, come on. Just like that, all of a sudden, the Grizzlies were down double digits. I turned around. I don't even know what happened.
It was weird because the hustle game, as the hustle game was ending in the final minute or so, we checked the score of the Grizzlies game, and it was 99-97. They had just gone up 99-97. We're like, wow, this could be a heck of a night. The hustle could get a win, or they were at that point. We knew they were going to get a win against one of the best teams of the G League, and maybe the Grizzlies are going to get a win against the best record in the NBA. So our game ends. We do our post game. We talk with G.G. Jackson. I've got a soundbite from him that I want to play later on that's actually interesting about kind of what the Grizzlies have told him about what they want out of him while he's down with the hustle. But do our post game, wrap up. Get done. I didn't look at the score again. Get to my car, and I turn the game on. And by that time, I think it had gone final. And I hear Eric Hasseltine say, well, final score, 125-104. And I was like, that's no. I was like, no. I swear when we checked the score, it was 99-97. I think there's no possible way that they were up 99-97 with, I didn't know how much time was. I couldn't remember how much time was up. I was like,
oh, it be, brother.
There's no way they're up 99-97 and lost by 21 points.
Yeah.
I was like, there's just that didn't happen. And then I'm like, it did. Like I am dumbfounded as to how that game ended up being a 21-point game. I mean, people will check that score and go, oh, yeah, Oklahoma City just killed the Grizzlies. Right. No, they were up 99-97.
No, it's only because I had a bet on Scottie Pippen to get 8 assists. So it had to be something like that, where they would run away with it and then they'd pull the guys out at the end of the game. No, it was crazy. I was watching it. It's in a blink of an eye. But that's how good Oklahoma City is. So I don't know what to take out of last night's game. Yeah, it's one game. It's one of 82. The Grizzlies were 1-3 on the road trip. They're wrapping it up at Oklahoma City. We all waved the white flag. They went out there for 3 quarters plus into the fourth quarter, going toe-to-toe with arguably the best team in the NBA. And then they stepped on the accelerator, the Thunder did. And it was 125-104 in the end. So I don't know how to look at it. All I know is the Grizzlies are now 44-29. They finished the road trip 1-4. And now they get set to take on the Lakers tomorrow night, The Celtics Monday night, the Warriors Tuesday night, all at home. And right now, a quick gander of the standings, and you have the Grizzlies tied with the Lakers for fourth. They are 2.5 up on the Clippers and the Warriors. So with 9 games remaining, yes, a lot still can happen. They are now a game and a half behind the Nuggets, who are in third, and they're falling well below the Rockets, who are right now soundly in second place by a couple games over Denver, 3.5 now up on the Lakers and the Grizzlies. How did we get there last night? Well, not only did the Grizzlies watch the Thunder stomp them down the stretch, the Los Angeles Lakers playing in Chicago watched Josh Giddey hit nearly a 50-footer at the buzzer to beat them 119-117 after Austin Reeves had scored on a drive in the final moments. Giddey, the inbounder, gets the pass back. Nobody's near him. He launches 47 feet, to be exact, because I measured it, and they win over the Lakers. That's heartbreaking. So you have the Grizzlies collapse and the Lakers heartbreaking loss on a 47-footer, both those teams colliding tomorrow night here in Memphis.
Yeah, I mean, the Lakers have to be like, there's no way they can figure out how they lost the game. Like, they gave up 3 3-pointers in the final 10 seconds of the game.
How's that possible?
Which is crazy. You're up by 5 with 10 seconds to go in the game. You score a bucket, and you still lose the game.
Yeah.
But it just an absolute disaster. And the shot by Giddey, I mean, that's just incredible. That dude's about to get paid this offseason, by the way. He's had a hell of a year.
And think about this. Oklahoma City dumped him, traded him, and look where they are. And that's a guy who's capable of putting up a triple-double on any given night.
But yeah, now you've got the Lakers. You're tied with them. Obviously, a huge game. If it does end up in that 4-5, if you do end up at the 4-5 for home court advantage purposes, if there's a good chance either way the Lakers are going to have the tiebreaker because they are a division leader right now, and they would win a tiebreaker just off that, even if the Grizzlies beat them tomorrow night. So a very important game. Obviously, 3 very important games, but the ones to get the Lakers game and the Warriors game in this homestand are absolutely massive because very well could end up deciding whether you're in front or behind either one of those 2 teams when all is said and done. So a huge game tomorrow night, and the Lakers aren't playing great basketball. Certainly they are very beatable. So it's a game that, on your home floor, if you want to get that home court advantage in the first round, you need to win the game tomorrow night.
Rockets won last night at Utah, 121-110. And this game has no significance on the Grizzlies, no impact on the Grizzlies. But the Indiana Pacers beat the Washington Wizards in a regulation game, 162-109, setting a franchise record for points, the most points scored by a team this year. 162-109. They must have drank a little bit of what Alabama was drinking last night on the college hardwood. Indiana putting up 162. All right, so we did get a little bit of an update on John Morant from Taylor Jenkins. Perhaps he was listening to our show the last couple of days, talking about the fact that we haven't heard word one about Ja. And then lo and behold, coincidentally, it's talked about yesterday pregame. Taylor Jenkins saying he's in the day-to-day phase of rehabilitation for that hamstring injury. He's progressing in workouts. He's working his tail off. Now, does that mean he's coming back to play tomorrow? I don't believe so. But it seems like it will be sooner than later. And that's what everybody's been talking about, from Michael Wallace to Michael Cole, our Grizzlies guests this week, that they believe it's one of those deals where you want to make sure there's no reason to rush him out there, even though you're battling for home court advantage, for seeding purposes. You rush him out there and then you lose him. You don't have him in the postseason. It makes no sense. So they're being extremely cautious.
Again, I mean, hamstrings are things you don't want to mess around with because they can linger for a long time. If you try and come back too early, you end up, tearing a hamstring, whatever, and then you're out for good. So certainly something you want to be careful with. with some huge games coming up, it would be nice to have Ja out there, but it'd be one of the things, I guess, that, once they feel comfortable that he's not going to do, it's not going to be an issue, he's not in danger of tearing it or whatever, then they'll get him back out there. And hopefully that is soon, because, again, there's not many games remaining, and they need to win some of these in order to ensure themselves of the best position possible in the postseason.
In case you went to bed earlier, you went to bed early last night, you're up early with us today, and you do not know all the results from the Sweet 16 action from yesterday. Alabama knocked off BYU 113-88, setting an NCAA tournament record with 25 threes. They were 25 of 51. We'll talk more about that in depth a little bit later on in the show. My Maryland Terrapins go down to Florida 87-71. Duke outlasts Arizona 100-93. And we talked about this a bit. Texas Tech over Arkansas in overtime 85-83. The 4 games on tap for today. Ole Miss and Michigan State, the Spartans are a 3.5-point favorite. Tennessee and Kentucky, the Vols are a 4.5-point favorite. Auburn and Michigan, Auburn's a 9.5-point favorite. Purdue and Houston is an 8.5-point favorite. There were some incredible individual performances that we'll talk about as well. But there are the results, just in case you missed it. We'll get to all the details and in-depth analysis of those games a little bit later on in the show. When we come back, though, we turn our attention to the prep scene and some other stuff as well with Mr. John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. I do want to tell you folks about Dinstall's. Dinstall's fine candies and chocolates over 123 years, which is just mind-blowing. They have been producing those delectables for over 123 years. I wonder what they started with. It was probably a simple candy, right? And then they started to add, and now, gosh, they have so much variety. Everything from the cashew crunch to the turtlettes to all the chocolate-covered fruits. You can still get the chocolate-covered strawberries, chocolate-covered grapes, chocolate-covered pineapples, and they have all the chocolate basketballs and chocolate footballs for little parties, little knickknacks that you put out there on the table, but also just for, fine dining for a dessert, right? You may elect to go with Dinstall's. Why wouldn't you? The chocolates are the best we have in the country, in my opinion, and I believe in the opinion of many. So, again, chocolate-covered pretzels, chocolate-covered caramels, chocolate-covered Heath. It's all out of this world. If you've not been by to Dinstall's, what are you waiting for? Head on over to Dinstall's. You can have any of these candies shipped anywhere in the country. So for all your sweet tooth needs, it's Dinstall's with 5 locations in Collierville, Germantown, downtown Memphis, in Pleasant View, and that's where they make the candies, over at the Pleasant View area, and also in East Memphis at the Laurelwood Shopping Center. 5 locations to pick up Dinstall's. Dinstall's fine candies and chocolates, been putting smiles on people's faces for over 132 years. Now 133 years, 123 years. Got it backwards, 123 years. When we come back, John Varlas joins us. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Admit it. When you start thinking about tastes of Memphis, you think treats, sweets. You think Dinstall's. For 122 years now. What is that, 5 generations? When people wanted something to bring to a party that will just make everybody happy, they bring out Dinstall's. 122 years of cashew crunch, of heavenly hash, of turtlettes, of their award-winning fudge. That's worldwide. It's known that well. Then there's the milk chocolate. It all starts there. There's the double-dip peanuts. And then every fall, those famous chocolate-covered strawberries with that fondant. And they won't tell you what's in the fondant, but it makes it oh so special. And easy to get to. 5 locations. There's where they make the candies in Pleasant View. There's Germantown. There's Collierville. There's even one downtown and in my neck of the woods in Laurelwood. You know what? 122 years made in Memphis and enjoyed by the whole world. Dinstall's.
Join us celebrating 26 years of Napa Cafe. Hi, I'm Glenda Hastings, owner of Napa Cafe, and I'm inviting you over for dinner. Treat yourself tonight with a delightful dinner of scrumptious combinations, fresh salads, homemade soups, or maybe start with an appetizer like our baked Dungeness crab dip with manchego cheese, lemon, garlic, and French baguette toast. Drift into one of our fresh seafood dishes, like the caramelized sea scallops with curry beurre blanc, black forbidden rice, and Thai mango salad, or our ancho honey glazed salmon with creamy black bean puree, avocado pico de gallo, and jalapeno crema. Maybe you're looking for something cozy and comforting, like our Duroc pork chop with apple brandy demi-glaze and blue cheese bacon mashed potatoes. We have something for everyone. Napa Cafe, open Wednesday through Saturday for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. For reservations, visit our website at napacafe.com. Come join us as we celebrate 26 years of Napa Cafe. I'd sure love to see you.
Hey, everybody, call it spring fever, call it March bracket time, yeah, all of that. Everybody is looking for something new to drive. All-Star Chevy right here in Olive Branch is loaded up for truck month, and every Silverado you want is here with financing down to 2.9, up to $3,000 cash for you. Hey, if you want a new 2500 HD Silverado, All-Star has them with no payment for 90 days, and your good credit deserves it. If your budget is in the 20s or 30s, gotta love all these affordable new All-Star Chevys, new Blazers, Equinox, new Colorado trucks. And if you're law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, military, education, recent grad, you get an extra $500 bonus. Plus, every certified Chevy and all the pre-owns you want are here in one place. Tahoe, Sierras, Camaros, Suburbans, and tons of Silverados. And if you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it here to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. Together, let's drive what we really want to drive. All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch, or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Owning your own home is wonderful, and buying your own home can be wonderfully easy. If your agent is Margie O'Neill of Remax Expert, Margie has over 20 years of experience in helping folks just like you find their new home. Buyers markets, sellers markets, up and down markets, Margie has sold them all with a dedication that makes it easy for you to buy your new home. Margie O'Neill at Remax.net. That's MARGIE.ONEAL at Remax.net. Or call 901-685-6000 for your new home. Margie O'Neill makes it easy.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating with football season coming up. Commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue six-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family. Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. A little bit more volume in the last 15-20 minutes spotted here on I-40 coming westbound, passing New Airline Road, coming in from Fayette County into Shelby County here at 269. As you work your way down the interstate here on 40 West, all the way to Germantown Parkway, it looks like it's got a little bit heavier coming off that ramp from Austin P Highway onto I-40. Over here around the 101 connector, it's still moving right along on I-40 westbound at Watkins. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season. Go by and see them and shop local. Save a lot of money even this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 7:29 the time. Hour one here on this Friday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. We talked a little bit about the NCAA Sweet 16 action from last night. We'll get more in depth into that later on in the show. We talked Grizzlies to begin the program. A loss last night to the Thunder, 125-104. And now it's time to talk a little preps, as we do each and every Friday with John Varlas.
It's time for Greg and Eli's weekly visit with John Varlas on Daily Benefit. Check out John's prep sports coverage and much more at dailybenefit.com. John is brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis, where pros and preps go to get their shot. Shoot 360 Memphis. Now here's John Varlas with Greg and Eli.
He is the award award-winning prep reporter for the Daily Memphian, but so much more. He's John Varlas. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas, and we have him in the flesh this week after the last few weeks on the road in Murfreesboro, where you've put up residency once again this year. How are you, my friend? Of course, John, brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis.
Yes, indeed. I was out at Shoot 360 Memphis yesterday. They got some really exciting things coming up for the summer, spring and summer basketball-wise, but, in terms of like camps and showcase events and whatnot that we'll be sharing with you as we get into the spring and summer. But, the most important thing, obviously, the bread and butter is the work they do out there. The Shoot, making kids and young basketball players get better at helping them get better at the game of basketball with the exclusive Shoot 360 technology that they have out there. The advanced analytics combined with the gamification that's used by pros like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. Steve, the owner, told me yesterday that, Kyrie Irving has spoken of the Shoot 360 technology. And of course, one of the founder and the owner of the company, one of the guys behind it is Thaddeus Young, the longtime NBA star from Mitchell High and Memphis, Tennessee. So big names have used this technology. Big names are behind this technology, and it's the best of the best that I know to get better at the game of basketball. So give them a call out there in Cordova on Big Orange Road, 901-779-3176. Also in Collierville, 901-316-5500. You can be a member at one or both. They have a variety of different membership plans to suit your budget, and they will take care of you at Shoot 360 Memphis.
Did you get some shots up while you're out there?
You know what? I want to, and I think eventually I probably will. I haven't so much as touched a basketball except on accident. Maybe when they come bouncing to you on press row. I touched a couple last week because they came bouncing up towards me on press row, and
let me say this:
Did you fire up a shot?
I fielded it and threw it back to the official.
John, it's wild because I hadn't played in a long time, hadn't shot a basketball in a long time. I've been out there twice, and when we talk about that arc, it's amazing how high that arc needs to be considered a good shooter. Yeah. So most of the time we shoot as people line drive or just above line. The arc has to be really, really high, and it gets you to that point where you're doing that. So it's really fun to do it. My arms were so tired from trying to hoist to the arc it needs to be.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure mine would be too, but it's been so long since I've even touched a basketball. They probably wouldn't want me associated with their company in any way.
They're not going to put you on the cover of the pamphlet?
No, certainly not. They're not
or the instructional video.
Yeah.
Here's how to do it after 3 months at Shoot 360. Look at John Varlas.
Yeah, but no, it does sound like fun. And then, and that's interesting too, Greg. You say that when you go out there, a lot of people, a lot of kids just go out there and they just shoot. And obviously that's fun, right? Because
right.
Getting out there
getting
and
up shots,
getting up your shots is fun. But the analytical part of it is what's so key, to study it and see, I did this, this month, and I'm now doing this, this next month.
Right.
Tracking your progress through the numbers that they have and the technology that's been developed by NASA. Obviously not for basketball, but for other things, and they've adapted it to Shoot 360. So it's just really an incredible place, and it's a fun place. But yeah, the science behind shooting is pretty intense nowadays.
Come a long way since when I was a kid. I had the Steve Alford VHS shooting video that I used. That's how I worked on my shot. And,
along with his Fred McGriff hitting
Steve Alford drills.
So
we've come a little. So this is a little different. A little more technology involved in this one than that VHS tape
the old
I had.
VHS tapes.
You may not be old enough, but I know, Greg, you are. Red on Round Ball with Red Auerbach.
Yes.
So what they would do for the listeners that are too young, halftime of the NBA games, they had one NBA game per week, and it was probably like on Sunday afternoon. And halftime, Red Auerbach would come on with a player, Pete Maravich or George Gervin or somebody like that, and he'd give a brief basketball lesson right there at halftime. Red on Round Ball. He'd teach you how to throw the perfect bounce pass or teach you proper free throw form, and that's how I learned.
Yeah, very, very primitive compared to what we have now. So We always ask you each Friday, for those who listen regularly, for whether or not you have a bone to pick. Normally you do. So do you have a bone to pick?
I've got several, but most of them will get me in trouble. The safest one, guys, are you seeing this pollen out here this year?
Oh gosh,
my wife, I come home the other day and she said she saw like a. Are you familiar with dirt devils? Have you guys ever been out west and seen these dirt devils that just pop up in the ground?
They look like little tornadoes.
Little tornadoes on the ground. She saw a pollen devil. It just popped up out of the ground, and it's like a little whirlwind,
pollen devil,
a little Tasmanian devil of pollen blowing around in the yard and in the complex. And then I'm sitting in the car the other day. I'm getting ready to leave, and all of a sudden this big blob of pollen just falls out of the sky. It's like yay big. It's about as big as a honey bun or something, and it just falls out of the sky right onto the. I mean,
honey buns would have been great. From the sky.
Now you've made me hungry. Now I need a honey bun. Why'd you have to use a honey bun? You can't use anything else but a honey bun. And I use the honey bun.
I know,
now
I'm hungry too now. But that's why there's so many car washes.
But that's why
they're opening every 3 feet. Car washes.
I know
because of these reasons.
But it's just this big old blob of pollen that fell out of nowhere. I mean, I'm looking at the cars in my complex. Greg, I know you, and you live in Lakeland too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's trees all over where you live,
gosh,
right? Yeah. And you're out there in East Memphis where there's lots of old trees, right?
Well, and real quick, I was over at Galloway playing golf the other day. Of course, my patented smash one into the tree. I hit it into the tree, and here comes this like volcanic ash. I'm like, what is that? And my buddy goes, it's pollen.
Yeah.
I've never seen it like come out of the sky like that.
Yeah, so, it's really, really weird stuff this year. I mean, I'm not alleging anything abnormal is going on, but it's just all over the place, and it's bad this year. Thankfully, it hasn't started to affect me yet. Allergy wise, but it will. It's inevitable, and but it's bad. And you're right. These car washes are going to be racking it up here in a couple of weeks once things settle down. And
went the other day, and all of a sudden, the next day, the pollen's back on.
Well,
that's not even worth washing your car.
Yeah, I'm not going to wash my car for maybe another 2 or 3 weeks because, like Eli says, it's pointless because it's. But
you're fighting a losing battle. The pollen will continue to win.
Definitely uphill. But yeah, this pollen is bad this year, and so that's probably my safest bone. The rest, you're
picking a bone with pollen.
Like I told you guys off air, the rest of the ones I have are probably going to get me in trouble. So I'm just going to table those.
Keep them to yourself.
Yeah,
how do you know pollen's not going to get revenge on you?
Well, pollen
might be pissed.
I'm also a little annoyed at the Anaheim Angels, if I may add another quick one.
You're going from pollen to the Anaheim Angels. You're all over the place.
Opening day of the season, and they pitch a position player.
Well, yes, I know. I tweeted something out about that too.
They got 13 pitchers on the roster, and they use a position player.
Isn't that crazy? And they only lost 8-1, right?
8-1, exactly. It wasn't like it was 19-1. I mean, what are they doing?
They got to think about tomorrow.
They're already out of pitchers.
They're always thinking about the next day.
What are they doing?
They've been eliminated.
What are they doing to the game I love? Everybody is just the smartest guy in the room nowadays.
Washington.
See, Ron Washington should know better. He's an old baseball man. He's an old school guy.
I saw that too. I'm with you on that one.
And Mike Trout is injured again.
No, he's not, is he?
I thought I saw where he got
looked
hit
like
with a pitch.
It was scary, yeah, but I think he's okay. I think he's okay. Knock on wood. I want to see Trout play.
Yeah.
All right.
So many bones.
So many bones.
Pollen and angels. Pollen and angels were taken up.
Maybe angels come from the pollen and they come down from heaven. All right. So you were in Murfreesboro last couple of weeks. Not a good postseason for Memphis. You gave me my sports fact that I used one time last week. That's brought to you by Gaddis, shameless plug. Mm-hmm. And it was since, I'm trying to remember this, since 1997. It's the first time we haven't had a boys championship, whether it's the public or the private.
At least one champion.
At least one champion.
In any classification.
In any classification, first time since 1997.
Yeah.
So overall, it was just a horrible basketball year, right?
No, it's not. I don't think you can say it's horrible when you have, two teams that finish as runner-up.
Okay.
Briarcrest finished runner-up in their classification, and Hillcrest finished runner-up in the small public school classification. So I don't know if you can say horrible, but
fair enough.
I mean, certainly the fans are going to be disappointed. The players and coaches are obviously disappointed. Greg, what I'm concerned about, and you can weigh in on this, and Eli too, as longtime high school basketball observers, what I'm concerned about, and I've been beating this drum for a few years now, is that it seems like the rest of the state has caught up to Memphis. Years ago, a Memphis team, an East, a White Station, even Southwind, Melrose, teams like that won state championships, 10 or 12 or 15 years ago. They walk into the state tournament and the other teams would see Memphis on the bracket, and our local teams would be ahead, 8 or 10 points before the game even started, simply because of the psychological factor involved. Now you've got, these teams I saw last week, Hillsboro that won the state championship, Oak Ridge, Independence, these schools from the mid-state and eastern Tennessee. I feel like they've caught up to Memphis, not just not just from a coaching standpoint, but also from a style of play standpoint and athleticism standpoint. They play like Memphis teams. They look like Memphis teams. They're tall. They're athletic. They're quick. They jump. They're skilled basketball players and also great athletes as well. They look like a Memphis team. There wasn't. As good as Whitehaven is, for example, and everybody here in town was rightfully very high on Whitehaven, the tremendous team that Willie Kemp put together this year. When they played Oak Ridge in the semifinals, they didn't look like too much of a difference between them when the teams were out on the floor. They were both really tall. They were both really skilled. They were both, really good at basketball. And the Oak Ridge team was exceptionally well coached, and they got the victory over Whitehaven in the semifinals. So, I'm just wondering, is this a ship that is sailed? Can it come back? Can it come back at some point?
How many of the champions are from the Nashville area?
Well, this year in the public schools, this year it was spread out. Hillsboro won in 4A. I can't remember. Oh, Upperman won in 3A. Upperman is near Cookville. They won in 3A. Really good team. Ty Cobb, the Mr. Basketball winner, is their best player. I mean, he's a sophomore basketball player that would fit right in.
Tell me he plays baseball.
Is he a jerk? Is he hated by a lot of people?
Does he play baseball?
He's
got to play baseball.
I don't know. I don't know the answer.
Does he come in cleats first?
Is he a descendant?
I don't think he is. No.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Somebody like Ty Cobb in Upperman, Tennessee, which is, relatively in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
He would fit right in Memphis wise, on the basketball court. No fear, plays hard, great athlete, got the mindset of a dog. He fits in well. He would fit in well with Memphis. And you could say that for a lot of these kids outside of the state. I saw last week. Alcoa won in Class 2A from East Tennessee, and Chattanooga Prep beat Melrose in the 1A final.
I was just wondering if it was just
spread out. Yeah.
If it was because of the population boom of Nashville. If they're just obviously you get more kids, you're getting more athletes, but yeah, I mean if it's spread out all over the place, that's not the case.
Here's the thing: the girls didn't bring home a state championship either.
No, Bartlett got to.
They were close.
Yeah, Bartlett lost. I mean, Bartlett lost to a super team.
Okay,
they lost to a team that's lost 3 games in 3 years.
But we hang our hat. On.
They lost to UConn.
We obviously got
the old UConn.
Prime UConn.
They lost to South Carolina.
They lost to Diana Taurasi and Brianna Stewart. Yeah,
we obviously got good football programs that have won state championships, but we kind of hang our hat on basketball. We went winless. All the boys, all the girls, private and public. So what it tells me is maybe there is the need for super teams in Memphis. Like we have in Chattanooga in football, like we have maybe in Nashville with some of those privates. We have so many of these charter schools that open up and this and that. It's spread thin, the talent. It was a power team when we had Houston winning the championship, when Mike Miller was over there and brought in the talent he brought in. Maybe we need a super team.
Well, I mean, in a sense, Whitehaven kind of was because, 2 of their starters had transferred in from Douglas. Prior to their senior seasons. And Douglas was a really good 2A program, and a couple of those guys transferred into Whitehaven for their senior year. So in a sense, it kind of was. But, Greg, we had that stretch in the largest public school classification, whether now it's 4A, it used to be 3A. There was a time, 16 out of 18 years, the champion came from Memphis. Now 3 out of the last 4 years, there hasn't even been a Memphis team in the championship game. Overton won the championship in 2023, but 2022, 2024, and now 2025, there hasn't even been a Memphis team in the championship
So
game.
why?
That's what I'm asking.
Well,
That's what I'm asking.
it can't be that these little country towns in eastern Tennessee all of a sudden like they've become like these basketball geniuses. It's got to be that we're spread too thin.
I don't know if it
There's
is.
too many schools.
I don't know if it is. I mean, they have charter schools in the Nashville area as well, and in Chattanooga as well. You know, a lot of it is just that I think these programs have realized that that they can play with Memphis, and the mindset is different. You know, the mindset is, hey, we're good enough to compete with these guys. You know, just because they're from Memphis doesn't mean we have to lay down for them. We're good too.
Right.
And I think a lot of that mindset has changed. You know, credit to the coaches for that. But beyond that, you know, it's like I said, you know, they've got the athletes, they've got the coaches, and it makes for a really good product. I mean, it was some really good basketball this week. I mean, I saw a kid from in the Class 3A tournament, a kid from Greenville, Tennessee, of all places. But this kid is 6'8".
Named Lou Gehrig.
I don't get that reference.
Yes, you do. Ty Cobb, Lou Gehrig. Come on, John, get with it.
No, I'm
Come
sorry.
on, keep up with me here.
Sorry.
Keep up with me.
I was trying to connect Greenville to Lou Gehrig. Anyway, I mean, this kid is 6'8", but he was athletic. I mean, he could get up and down the floor. You know, he was catching alley oops. You know, with a good vertical.
Right.
But he could also step out and shoot the three. I mean,
Yeah, there's going to be good talent all over the place. And all it takes is five players.
But like, yeah,
right?
But like, how,
compared to a football
but
team.
like, I mean, but how is Greenville, Tennessee developing, you know, a player like this that, you know, that's not really comparable to anybody in Memphis? I mean, this kid would easily be a top, you know, probably 2 or 3 kid in the city of Memphis.
You're going to get exceptions to the rules all over the place, but the best, I mean,
They're going to shoot 360. They're finding shoot 360 locations everywhere.
all the best. Look, Greenville, I don't know how many people are in Greenville, but probably they don't have that many high schools, and all the best players probably go to the one high school, and you're going to find a diamond in the rough. And whereas Memphis, you have a billion different schools. And we need them. We have a lot of kids. But I wonder how many schools we have compared to Nashville. And Nashville's more populated than Memphis.
I would think Nashville has as many, if not more. I don't know that for a fact, but
I just wonder how it's broken down, because there's got to be something to it. It can't be just that psychologically, although I understand where you're coming from.
Nashville's a million private
psychologically, that all of a sudden the rest of the state goes, yeah, now I think we can beat Memphis now.
Well, it's not something that just happened like that, you know, like flipping a switch. I think it's time and results that have shown that. You know, one team competes this year and another team sees that and says, well, we got dudes, why can't we compete with them? You know, I think it's something that's built over time. But, you know, and having said that, you know, Bartlett next year can get on a run, and with the guys they got over there, they could win the next 3 championships. You know, with Braylon Williams and DJ Okot and those guys, you know, they could, you know, they might get on a roll and start dominating. But it's just different, and I just wonder if the ship has sailed for good, or if it's something that can be recovered.
Sounds like a John Varlas investigative piece for the Daily Memphian to talk to all these high school coaches and get their opinion on what they think may be the changing of the guard. We'll take a break. John Varlas is joining us. He's with us each and every Friday. He's brought to you by Shoot 360 Memphis. You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, hard guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, classic arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guarantee lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections, appraisals, and free bar setting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at classicarmsandmemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Georgetown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
Since 1948, in the alley, the Rendezvous. I'm with John Burgess. John, what's going on in the Rendezvous? Well, there's some things about the Rendezvous I'm going to talk about.
For example, we make it really easy to park. We have valet parking right at Monroe Street in our alley. We also want to make it easy for people to get to doors. You can now park in our alley right at our front door and put your flashers on. People also forget that we take reservations for 6 or more. And we have a wonderful party room upstairs that can accommodate people for rehearsal dinners, birthday parties, reunions, graduations. Our rooms seat between 25 and 275 people. And everything at the Rendezvous can be packed to go. But we also do catering. See our menu online, and we can even deliver for groups of 15 or more. So if you have any questions, always feel free to call us at the Rendezvous because we answer our phone ourselves. You'll never hear. Please listen carefully for our menu listing. Press 1 for reservations, press 2 for hours, press 3 for catering, or if you know your party's 9-digit extension number and the first 3 letters of the mother's maiden name, dial it now. Come see us at the Rendezvous. Since 1948, the Rendezvous.
Hi, this is Troy Five-Ash, owner of Five-Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five-Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five-Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five-Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
New showroom, less wait for service, and the greatest deals during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event at Gossett Hyundai South Mount Moriah. 2024 Hyundai Venue Limited. We Gossett 22,317. How about 2024 Hyundai Elantra Limited? We Gossett 24,997. 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL Convenience 25,260. And 2024 Hyundai Sonata SEL Standard 26,353. Plus you get America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So don't miss the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event at Gossett Hyundai South, 2660 Mount Moriah. Online anytime, HyundaiMountMoriah.com. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
341,155, MSRP 25,160. Elantra RU 821,411, MSRP 28,780. Convenience SU 856,185, MSRP 27,020. Sonata RU 415,696, MSRP 29,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax, title, and license. CDU for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
All aboard, football fans! The Memphis Showboats are back in action with more of the football you love. Join the Showboats at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium March 30th for the opening weekend of the 2025 UFL season as the Boats take on the Michigan Panthers. Kickoff is 11 a.m. Head to UFLShowboats.com now to get your tickets and get more of the touchdown celebrating, high-fiving, bell-ringing action you love. That's UFLShowboats.com. Go Boats!
You get the best of Memphis for lunch and dinner at Elwood Shack. Choose from house pastrami, corned beef, smoked turkey, roast beef, roast pork, beef brisket, and pulled shoulders, all made in-house. Elwood's fresh baked bread is delivered daily only in our bakery in Cordova, and all Elwood's cakes and sweet treats come from Frost Bakery. Open daily for lunch and dinner at Elwood Shack on Summer in the Lowe's parking lot. And the newest Elwood's at 4040 Park Plus. You are there. Get the best of Memphis or anywhere else at Elwood Shack.
Now, back to Sports 56 Morning on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. John Varlas with us, as he is every Friday. Not a ton of time here, John, but now firmly 100% your mind is concentrating on the spring sports with the winter sports now done. Baseball, softball, obviously it's already been underway, but what's going on as far as those sports are concerned?
We'll start off a great result last night from for Houston softball, a program that's been steadily building over the last few years. They defeated Arlington last night 16-8, and that's significant because Arlington has kind of dominated public school softball in our area for several years now. They've made the state tournament a couple of times. They've been to the sectional game, at least the sectional game, probably 6 or 7 years in a row. And for Houston to break through, even though it's a regular season game, that's a significant victory for the Houston program. So congratulations to those girls at Houston. The big story on the baseball front continues to be Collierville. They're up to 17-0 now. They beat Lane Tech out of Chicago yesterday.
How about that? Lane Tech came down.
No, they're playing at the Spring Classic in Murfreesboro. So Lane came to Murfreesboro.
Lane Tech. What the heck?
And you didn't want to go back?
Murfreesboro? Not this week. Not for regular season baseball.
I'm kidding.
I can't. Well, I would, but I can't justify that one on the old travel budget. But no, combined no-hitter for Collierville improves them to 17-0. They are number 1 in the state. They climbed up this week to number 16 in the national rankings. And, they're just playing some tremendous baseball.
Who's coaching them?
Jeff Munier.
When did Hopkins retire?
Well, Coach Hopkins has been retired for a while because Coach Munir's been there for a while.
Okay.
And they're doing a great job with the guys this year. I mean, they've got so much pitching depth. I mentioned they had a combined no-hitter today. Pitching has really been key for those guys. It's been hard to score runs against Collierville this year. But, they've had timely hitting too. Brody Weinmiller, Preston Sumner, Cale Allen. They've got some guys in the lineup that can really mash as well. And they're going to be going in a couple of weeks here to the one of the prestigious national tournaments in North Carolina to test, kind of test themselves against some of the best national competition as well.
Is that in Cary?
Yeah, exactly. Cary, North Carolina. So I'm excited to see what Collierville brings to the table. I'm planning to go see them Monday. They're playing Bartlett at home Monday night at beautiful Patriot Bank Park out there in Bartlett. If you've never been to Patriot Bank Park, it's a great place to watch high school baseball. It's, almost like a little minor league field the way they got it set up. It's really nice out there.
The Oakland A's are going to play there next year.
Or the Rays, maybe.
I can assure you, and no disrespect to my old buddy Brent Rooker, who is the leader of the Oakland Athletics. But some of those crowds last year at Oakland could have easily fit in Patriot Bank Park, and there would not have been a sellout. And there would have been room for a pep band too. I can assure you on that.
Mr. Rooker, friend of the show, tough night last night to open the season.
Did he? I didn't see
the golden sombrero. 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts.
Man, I jinxed him. Did you? Because I wrote an article. It's the Varless
He'll
jinx.
be okay.
The Varless jinx.
No, he'll be back. Real quick here. Okay, I'll put you on the spot.
A golden sombrero?
Yeah.
Poor
4 strikeouts, 4 at bats.
Poor Brent.
So you said it's what is the name of the Bartlett Stadium again?
The Collierville Stadium, Patriot Bank Park.
Collierville.
Yeah.
Okay. Top 5, no particular order, baseball stadiums for high school here in the area.
Collierville's is great. Houston is a great game day experience. The ballpark at Arlington, where Arlington High plays, is a really
not
fun
the Rangers.
Place. It is a really fun place to go see some ball. Briarcrest has a terrific field. St. George's, ECS is a fun place for. A lot of them.
How does Christian Brothers stack up?
Christian Brothers is awesome.
It's
down there, and kind of down there in the bowl. MUS has that nice field. Honestly, there's not a bad one. Honestly, I'm going out to Gagliano tonight. Historic Gagliano Field. Lausanne is going to host Christian Brothers out there. Gagliano is Lausanne's home field.
I didn't know that.
Coach Kelso and Coach Mitchell kind of went to the people in charge of Gagliano and said, "Hey, if you let us use this field, we'll take it over. We'll make it really nice, and we'll handle it." And that's what they've done. They've turned it into a really nice field. So that's a good place to watch baseball as well. And and tonight it's going to be the Brothers and the Lynx, two teams again. They're off to really good starts as well. Christian Brothers playing some great ball lately, but there's no really bad place.
How about some of the public schools? We know with football, some of the public schools don't have football stadiums, so they play wherever it may be. Yeah. Crump Stadium, whatever. What about baseball?
Same thing.
So where are the fields they would play? Gagliano, or is that all Lausanne now?
I think Lausanne is Gagliano only, but I'm not sure of that. There's fields in I think there's a field in Fraser where a lot of Carruthers maybe. Some of these other older fields. I don't think a lot. The city schools, they don't play at the school, that's for sure. So I think they go to other fields.
Yeah, I wonder how many I know baseball programs.
White Station. Well, they a lot of them have programs. It's just they're it's not super competitive right now, and
Right.
and that's a topic for another day. But
Okay.
but yeah, no, there's really not a bad place to watch high school baseball in Memphis. There's honestly not. It's always a good night on the old
And
diamond.
the weather's usually nice as well. So get out there and enjoy.
Oh, North Point. I mean, my goodness, the folks at North Point could not be more hospitable. Go out there and get you a Trojan burger and watch you 7 good innings. I mean, there's
old Trojan burger.
Plug away, John.
Those Trojan burgers rule, man. I promise you that.
Best burger is that the best burger of any of the parks?
I'm not going to
Don't get anybody mad.
I'm not going to open that can of worms, but you cannot go wrong with a good Trojan burger.
He is John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. Read him at the DM. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. Catch him every Friday right here on Sports 56 Mornings. He's brought to you by the great folks at Shoot 360 Memphis. Good stuff. Thank you, John.
Thank you, guys.
Next week, I want a full ranking of concession stands.
Oh, heavens.
Put him on the spot. You are tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
First ever preseason pool spa patio event is going on now. Family leisure, first time ever. Unbelievable savings. You want a pool? They're starting at just $19.99. How about a spa? They're starting at just $29.99. Patio furniture sets are starting at $7.99. Cold plunges and swim spas are just, well, I can't even say those prices. But I will say, they're priced to move. There are so many deals going on right now during the first ever preseason pool spa and patio event. You've got to come in and see the savings for yourself. But wait, there's more. You can register to win either a free pool, a spa, or a patio set. Yes, a free pool, spa, or patio set. Just stop by Family Leisure to sign up. This is a first time ever preseason pool, spa, patio event. It's going on right now at Family Leisure. Family Leisure. Win Road at I-40. Family and fun come together.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? We have it covered at Humdinger. It's quick, it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. Many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
It's the Chevrolet Buick GMC of Collierville Dunking Deal Sales Event with over 300 new vehicles in inventory and savings up to $10,000 on your favorite new models. Specializing in low-cost vehicles with financing options based on your credit. Get to Sunrise in Collierville, Highway 385 in Houston, or Sunrise at Collierville.com.
Price does not include licensing costs, registration fees, taxes, and dealer dock fee of $899.50, which are paid by the consumer. Inventory combined from both Sunrise locations. New 24 Chevy Silverado, stock number RG197130, 8,000 dealer discount, 2,000 consumer cash. Expires 3/31/25.
You know, sometimes I wish I had a gun.
Well, I'm armed, but before I bought one, I still went to Top Gun Academy to learn to protect myself without a gun.
How is that possible?
Top Gun's personal protection training. It's perfect if you want to protect yourself without firearms.
I don't know.
And it's perfect if you feel the need to carry a gun for self-defense, because the last thing you really want to do is shoot.
That is scary.
Not at Top Gun. It's very comfortable, and you learn to load, handle, and shoot a handgun safely. Protect yourself. Go to Top Gun Academy. They're at 2770 Witten Road.
Every year it's the same thing. March arrives, and I want to tell all of you to spend as much time as possible at Bell Tavern watching college basketball. But I also want to ensure everyone that Bell Tavern is not a rowdy sports bar where you'll run into people that can't drink and watch a game without yelling. Once again, let me say Bell Tavern is a great place to watch college basketball where you won't run into people that can't drink and watch a game without yelling. Bell Tavern is not a sports bar. Bell Tavern is a grown-ups bar.
This traffic report on Sports 56 is brought to you by Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South Pella Windows. The standard is affordable luxury.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Trying to build even more in the last few minutes on 385 Billmore Parkway from Kirby all the way down past Ridgeway. You get up on that ramp there to 240 at Mount Moriah. It's trying to pick up southbound. Austin P trying to get up on that ramp there to I-40. Still moving on I-40 from Covington Pike all the way over to Watkins there at the 101 connector. Hey, if your yard needs a little bit of help, call Lawn Solutions today. These guys are the best. They'll save you some money and time. That's Lawn Solutions, 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Brad Mooresworthy and Brian Dacus. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Diamonds are forever.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everyone. 8:04 the time. Hour 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you. We are broadcasting live. We're live and local from the Family Leisure Studios. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Perhaps this weekend, you can go over there and check out their preseason pool, spa, and patio event. Currently 64 degrees. It's going to get up to 82 today, although the clouds are rolling in. And then you're looking at, for the evening hours, overcast skies with 64 degrees for your low into Saturday, where rain is expected. Hour 2 of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers, your family's jeweler, 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. Open Monday through Friday, 10 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 4, closed on Sunday. They bring you each and every Monday and Friday the Memphis Sports Fact. Did you know the St. Louis Cardinals opened up the 2025 season yesterday with 20 of their 26 opening day roster players having played for the Memphis Redbirds? Now, that doesn't even count guys who had rehab stints with the Redbirds, including somebody like Wilson Contreras. So 20 of the 26 played significant time with the Memphis Redbirds. James Gaddis Jewelers, full-service jewelers ready to serve you. If you need a simple cleaning of your ring or your watch or any piece of jewelry, you need a resetting of your ring, your fingers get bigger, they shrink, and they get bigger, and they will adjust that for you. They will take care of the jewelry that you purchase from them for the lifetime of the jewelry, but other jewelry you purchase from other places, you can bring that in. They'll take care of that as well. James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar between Mendenhall and St. Nick, and on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. So let's get to the college basketball from last night and tonight. We got the Sweet 16 action and then the Elite 8 over the weekend. So yesterday, the SEC went 2-1, the Big 12 went 1-2, the ACC went 1-0, and the Big 10 went 0-1. We begin with the record-setting performance by the Alabama Crimson Tide. They beat the BYU Cougars 113-88. Try being BYU, walking out of that game having scored 88 points in a college basketball game, and you lost by 25.
Yeah, we had talked about it all week. It's going to be a crazy high-scoring affair. Quite frankly, BYU to get to 88 points, only going 6 of 30 from three-point range. Pretty impressive, but they could score. I talked about if they both shoot the three-pointer well, that the losing team would get to 100. Alabama, if you're going to make 25 threes, you're going to win. It's just bottom line. And Mark Sears gets going like that, they're just, again, they can just flat out score the basketball. I mean, 25 threes is a ridiculous number at a college basketball game.
I'd like to know, and they probably have analytics that will have the information I'm looking for, how quickly both those teams get their shot off. Because even BYU and Alabama shooting the threes, and they made a big deal when it was it Sears or somebody shot a 2? And they were like, what are they doing? It's either dunks or threes. And then they went back and they started hitting threes and getting dunks. But BYU runs that offense so quick, they're down and they shoot. And Alabama shoots. These are teams that do not milk the shot clock. They're not coming down to where they're going to get a shot clock violation. no matter what defense is being played against them. So
Alabama's average possession length on offense is 14.1 seconds.
And what's BYU?
17 something.
Again, I mean, you're basically using half the clock.
17. BYU is 115th in the nation. Alabama is 4th.
Wow, that's a lot higher than I would think. At, would you say 17 seconds?
Yes, for BYU. 14.9 is Alabama. I must have said 14.1. I don't know.
14.9. So just about 15. I mean, again, halfway into the shot clock. But both these teams still shoot the ball quickly, and you make a high percentage of your shots, you're going to have these types of scores, elevated points. And with Alabama last night, if they play like that, even as poor as their defense is, I don't know how you lose. They were 25 of 51. Not just that they made 25, which smashed the record. They hit nearly 50% of them, just under, at 25 of 51. Mark Sears, as I said, last night was the stars starred last night in college basketball. Mark Sears may be going out of business, but not this guy. 34 points, 10 of 16 from three. And I watched pretty much, everything up until the Maryland game started, and then I went back at halftime. So I went back and forth. I didn't watch every second of this game. But it seemed like to me that BYU, also not a great defensive team, they didn't challenge Sears, who was pulling up from 28 feet, 27 feet. So they would guard the perimeter, but when he stepped back 3 or 4 feet from the actual perimeter, they weren't there, and he was knocking them down. He was making them pay. So Mark Sears, the All-American first-teamer, did what stars do. Stood out, led his team, set the tone, and Alabama's moving on to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I mean, that's, Sears, obviously a terrific player and has that type of range when he gets it going. You've got to figure out some way to run him off the three-point line, but there's plenty of other guys. Holloway ends up hitting, 4 or 5 threes himself. Yes. I mean, they've just got – you keep talking about their defense, which is actually factually incorrect about them being bad on defense, but
I use my eyes, and I watch, and I don't think they're a great defensive team. Well, again, BYU scored 88 on them, and they didn't shoot
again,
threes.
There's a million possessions. They're going to give up points. That's just bottom line. They're ranked 27th, 27th in defensive efficiency in the nation. I mean, they're actually a good defensive team, but they give up a lot of points because there's a million possessions. They have the number one tempo in the country.
I bet you $1 trillion that Alabama isn't scoring 113 against Houston. I'll tell you that much.
Okay, well, that's great. Houston, there will be a lot less possessions because Houston plays really slow. I mean, that doesn't
play defense.
That doesn't mean Alabama's a bad defensive team.
They're not. They're not a good defensive team. I watched them too many times this year. Too many times.
Just because you lost a bet on them in one game doesn't mean they're a bad defensive team.
It's not because of that.
Again, they're 27th in the nation in defense.
I don't care. I'm telling you.
Okay, so we'll go by you saw them a few games versus what the numbers for every game of the season actually tell you. The bottom line, it doesn't matter. Okay. They outscored teams because they're the 4th best offensive team in the country.
We'll see. I mean, they get outscored teams. I still think they are porous defensively. The other game that was played at that time was Maryland and Florida. And again, I'm not distraught. Maryland reached the Sweet 16, a team that was up and down, hot and cold. There were a lot of issues at times with this Maryland team. They came together. Of course, now the whole deal is with Kevin Willard, who's probably going to Villanova. His answer to the question last night stunk, was terrible. I don't know what I'm doing right now. I mean, shut up. But as far as this game is concerned, first half, Maryland played really, really well. But here's the thing with this game. Florida's deep. They are really deep. And even Condon went down, and then good for him that he was able to come back. But this is such a deep team. And Clayton didn't even go off in this game. But the bench outscored Maryland 29-3. 29-3. So they're getting guys breathers. They're coming back re-energized. They also out-rebounded Maryland 42-20. Florida's got the big 7-footers. But for Maryland, Derek Queen, who's a great offensive player, is not a particularly great defensive player or rebounder. And Reese, at times, his motor just runs out. So to lose the rebounding war 42-20, you can understand why Florida ended up winning this one going away by 16, 87-71. Again, not distraught. Maryland to get this far, I thought that was an achievement. Florida, though, really, really good team. And Derek Queen, again, stars show up. Derek Queen at 27 for Maryland, but not nearly enough.
Yeah, Florida just keeps coming at you. You know, Condon gets hurt. They've got plenty of guys. Chinyalu fouls out of the game. Doesn't matter. They got plenty of guys. Clayton is awesome. You know, and last night it was, you know, everybody, you know, had what, 5 guys or whatever in double figures, 6 guys in double figures. They could have Clayton go off and have the huge game. They can do like they did last night, a bunch of people scoring. They've been and will continue to be. They're just an unbelievably good rebounding team just because they've got a bunch of bigs and they go after the boards. It's them, them just like Texas A&M. They just go after the boards and rebound the heck out of it on the offensive end. So Florida's just going to be really, really hard to beat.
Well, I could tell you one thing, though. If they turn the ball over like they did against Maryland, a lot of them unforced, against a better team here in the final Elite 8, if they get to the Final 4, against one of those opponents, they'll lose. They were throwing the ball around like it was going out of style. And Maryland scored 17 points off those 17 Florida turnovers. The problem was Maryland turned it over only 11 times, but Florida cashed in and scored 17 off their 11 turnovers. So the sloppy guard play from Maryland, and that's one of the big differences too. Florida, the guards are great. And Clayton, again, didn't go crazy. Way better than the Maryland guards. And so you throw that in there with the bigs that they have. Florida is a real tough team. Look, when you picked Florida, a lot of people picked Florida. That was an obvious one to me, but I wanted to try to go off the path and do something different. And it might work out. Maybe it probably won't. The odds are against me that Houston will end up winning it all. But I went against because I figured everybody's going to take Florida and they're going to take Duke and some will take Auburn. But Florida looks really, really good. So they advance. And then you had the 2 later games. Duke, who's been crushing everybody, they were a 9.5-point favorite. And I thought they would cover. And they didn't cover. I give a lot of credit to Arizona. Duke wins 100-93. They were pushed. But the Stars, again, the Stars are going to star. Cooper Flagg, 30 for Duke. Caleb Love, 35 for Arizona.
Yeah, I'm going to guess Duke is just going to be happy to never have to face Caleb Love again. I'll tell you, he just likes to ruin Duke moments. But luckily for Duke, this time they did have Cooper Flagg. He was awesome. He just, whatever he wants to do, the dude just, he makes it look easy. I mean, it just 30 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, 3 blocks. Just whatever you need, the guy does it. Absolutely incredible performance by him. Incredible performance by Love, but it just Flagg also has Con Knippel going for 20 and other guys to help him. And when you got, not often in college basketball, you're going to see the 2 games in the Sweet 16 in one region where you've got both winning teams get to the 100 mark.
Yeah. Did every game go over the posted total? It seemed like you had 193 points in that game, the Duke-Arizona game. You had over 200 in the Alabama-BYU game. You had 158 in the Maryland game. And you had 168 in the Arkansas-Texas Tech game. I don't know. It just seemed like it was an overnight. Speaking of overtime with Texas Tech and Arkansas, we talked about this a little bit in hour 1. The Red Raiders complete the second largest comeback ever in the Sweet 16. Listen to this fun fact. John Calipari was 35-0 in his NCAA tournament career when leading by 6+ points at halftime. Arkansas had a 16-point lead with 10:10 to go.
Mm-hmm.
And they lose it in overtime. And Mr. Gaston loses his money line.
They're up double digits with 4 minutes to go.
Yeah. It was 13 down 13 with less than 5 to play. Come on, man. Give credit to Texas Tech. Give credit to Darian Williams, who kept shooting, struggling, hits the big 3, then hits the game-winning deuce in the final moments there in overtime. as I said earlier, Calipari afterwards was more positive than negative. Instead of talking about blowing the lead and having a great opportunity to get to the Elite Eight, he talked about this team maybe overachieving, not when you look at the amount of talent it has, but where they were 5 games into the SEC regular season play and where they ended up in the Sweet 16.
Brad, who's a big Arkansas fan, says, we weren't supposed to be there, weren't favored, no sadness, great run.
Yeah, and that's the way Cal's looking at it as well. And I think that's the way it should be looked at by Arkansas fans.
Juan says, we played great for about 30 to 35 minutes. I think we got a little too comfortable with a 16-point lead, but I knew Texas Tech would make a run. They did. So many plays to look back on that would have won it in regulation. The Adu front end of the 1-and-1, Richmond's crazy turnover. Credit to Texas Tech. I'm still proud of how they fought and got to where they got to. I never would have thought it after they started 0-5 in SEC play.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I mean, you can certainly say, like, yeah, at 0-5 in SEC play, the last thing we'd have thought would be in the Sweet 16. However, you could also look at it and say, we were up 16 with 10 minutes to go in the game in the Sweet 16. Or you're up double digits with 4 minutes to go in the game, and you lost it. So you weren't supposed to be there, but you also weren't supposed to lose that game.
Okay, and you're right. And now that depends on the perspective. Where are you coming from? How do you want to look at it? Are you half full? You half empty? Are you more of a totality of the season or more of what they did? This goes back to the whole argument and discussion about Memphis. What they did in the regular season, where they put themselves, the position they put themselves in, and then they go in there and lay an egg as a 5 seed, but had some really bad luck with injuries and health and lost that game. Here's Arkansas that within the game is in complete control. Although to this point, some would say, yeah, they overachieved. They probably shouldn't have even been in the position they were in if it weren't for the last 3 weeks of the regular season, putting it into another gear. Well, here they are riding high. They're in the Sweet 16. They got a 13-point lead with 5 to play, and they lose. So again, your perspective. And it seems like so far the texts you've read from Arkansas fans, true Arkansas fans, is that they're not upset. Calipari's first year ends up at a Sweet 16. They could look at it the other way and go, we blew the double-digit lead. We should be in the Elite Eight. But they're looking at it more as a positive. So, again, it all depends on the perspective.
Yeah, good for them. Obviously, I'm the different guy. Like, if that was my team, I would not look at it in the positive way.
You would be distraught.
I would be angry and figuring out how in the hell we just blew that lead and lost that game. But yeah, good for y'all. And, certainly I'm going to guess that Calipari will have a bunch of really good players that he'll bring in for next year and try and do it again.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, and Matt Dillon will join us for the final time this season to wrap up the Tiger Basketball Report. And then we'll take a look at the 4 games that are on the docket for tonight in the Sweet 16. Coming up in hour number 3, we'll play 10 in a row to open up hour 3, the game show that has swept the nation. We'll talk some Major League Baseball opening day, some highlights from yesterday's contests. And then Brandon Lang will break down the games coming up today, and then already what we have in store for Saturday as the matchups are set up in the Elite Eight. We'll talk to him about those games coming up at about 9:25. All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch. It's spring fever. It's March bracket time. All of that's going on, and everybody is looking for something new to drive in 25. All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch is loaded up for truck month, and every Silverado you want is here with financing down to 2.9 up to $3,000 cash back for you. Hey, if you want a new 2500 HD Silverado, All-Star has them. No payment for 90 days because your good credit deserves it. If your budget is in the 20s or the 30s, you got to love all these affordable options like the new All-Star Chevys, like the new Blazers and the Equinox and the new Colorado trucks, all these affordable new Chevy trucks. If you're in law enforcement, first responder, healthcare, military, education, a recent graduate, you get a $500 extra bonus on top of everything else, all the other discounts. Every certified Chevy and all the pre-owned you want are here, all in one place. Tahoe, Sierras, Camaros, Suburbans, tons of Silverados. If you have any vehicle you want to sell, bring it to All-Star Chevy in Olive Branch and get the most money for it today. So together, let's drive, and let's drive what we really want to drive. All-Star Chevrolet in Olive Branch and allstarautogroup.com.
Juan texts back in and says, I'm angry, but see the big picture, and you couldn't have read what I wanted to write on my note.
Matt Dillon is next. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56.
We are ready to beat anyone on your new Hyundai from Gossett Hyundai on the Pike during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Plus, you get America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Listen to this, Mid-South 2024 Hyundai Venue Limited. We Gossett 22,317. How about 2024 Hyundai Elantra Limited? We Gossett 24,997. 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL Convenience 25,260. And 2024 Hyundai Sonata SEL Standard 26,353. This is what deals are made of at Gossett Hyundai 1870 Covington Pike. Online, HyundaiGossett.com. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
341,155, MSRP 25,160. Elantra RU 821,411, MSRP 28,780. Convenience SU 856,185, MSRP 27,020. Sonata RU 415,696, MSRP 29,110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hello. Hey, little sis. Did you get your W-2 yet? Yes, I did. Well, you know last year when I told you to file early to get your refund quick? Yes, I remember. Well, go ahead and call now, and you can get your refund fast. Thanks. That's why I love you. Always looking out for your little sis.
To get your taxes filed quick and get your refund fast, go to Brenton Tax Service, located in Midtown Memphis on Madison Avenue. We may not be related to you, but at Brenton Tax Service, we protect you like family.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games and all the TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos. And enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with reservations from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $4.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham. I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Still pretty light right now. Normally be heavier than this. Trying to get up through the Midtown area on 240 North at Lamar. It's still trying to build coming in from Fayette County into Shelby County as we check it out live again here on 40 westbound at 269, working your way westbound I-40 all the way down to Germantown Parkway. If your yard needs a little bit of help, you want to make it healthier and greener, call Lawn Solutions today at 867-5626. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Back to Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
Don't you just love it?
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Just hours shy from 1 week ago today, this time, right? Guess they kick. When did they tip off that Memphis game? Was it 1 o'clock or 11 o'clock? Whatever it was, last Friday.
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
11 o'clock in Seattle.
So a week ago, the season came to an abrupt end. And today, our annual visits with Matt Dillon comes to an end. It's the final edition of the Tiger Basketball Report. It is brought to you by Central Barbecue, Bin Swanger Glass, Colonial Hardware, and Napa Cafe. It is the Tigers Basketball Report with the professor, Matt Dillon. Matt, it's amazing. Look, there's only one winner in every sport, at every level. You have one winner. But it's amazing with basketball. It just seems to be so abrupt. All that work, off-season, exhibition games, Maui, regular season, conference play, conference tournament, and then you go out to Seattle, the long flight, and then in a couple hours, it's done.
It's amazing, Greg and Eli, to tell you the truth, because before I leave, I have to have everything done for all the teams out there. So I drag a lot of stuff with me, take it there, and I'm thinking, well, after this game, we won the first one, got to go back to the hotel and start on the next one or whatever. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, boom.
Yep.
I mean, it just comes to it. It's like you're driving a car and you smack into a wall and you're sitting there, oh, man, I ran into something and it's over with. It's amazing how sudden it is, and your emotions are very interesting right after it ends. To be honest, some years for me, the team really never, I think, caught on maybe with the fans or myself as much. And it's not that I didn't like them. It was just a team that was, maybe not attaining the goals they really wanted to get to and everything. And the season ended, you kind of understood it a little bit. But this one, I'll tell you guys, in my long career, this one kind of disappointed me a little bit because I thought this team really had a chance to do something. And, I wanted them to win 30 games. It's kind of a benchmark for teams. It used to be 20 years ago when the schedules were less, but now if you win 30, that puts your team forever in kind of a special mode there. And you don't have a lot of 30-win seasons in, the history of most schools. And it was a special time, and I thought they had the ability to do it. And then all of a sudden, fate steps in. Now, let's be honest, you lose Tyrese to an injury, and he's not there. Boy, that was really a blow, and it was such a late-in-the-year situation where you couldn't replace him, and because you got Harris, the backup point guard, he's out to a fluke kind of injury down at UTSA. So, Greg and Eli, it really tells people, and should let them understand that one or two things that happen in a season can change the complete direction of a basketball team. And unfortunately, it didn't happen early in the year. We could correct it. You're right, at tournament time, and you just don't have those two guys in the lineup, and that certainly was felt. There's no question about it.
What do you think was the biggest issue in the second half of that game when it got away from them?
Well, a couple of things. I don't ever think they really attacked the defense of Colorado State. They ran him into double teams, and they ran guys at him constantly. I'm talking to Haggerty, obviously. They had him in a situation where, he was double most of the time. I think having to play Danger for 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. He hadn't played that much all year long. And I tell you, they're a physical team now. They bumped him. They did some things to him, and every time he turned around, he was doubled in the lane as well. The defense confused him a little bit. I think they did some things, Colorado State, they usually didn't do during the year. They were well prepared for those two guys. Their thing was to stop those two guys. Well, they didn't stop Danger at first, but I think he got tired, to be honest with you, and it's nothing wrong. Big guys, it's hard to go for 40 minutes if you're a guy like that pounding and going inside. So I think the two things with Haggerty, he kind of went in a shooting slump at the end of the year a little bit. He's not a guy that's going to go out and pop threes. He's a driver, goes to the lane, finishes, mid-range, or goes to the rim and goes in. And I think they understood that. They jammed him, did a lot of things to him. And I guess maybe a physical toll takes on guys, if you play 35, 36 minutes like he had all year, Greg Neely, I don't know, maybe that was part of a factor. Fatigue could be in there because it's a long season now. You're talking about 34 games they played. That's a long time to take a lot of physical, abuse to your body. And certainly, again, not having Tyrese, he was the quarterback of this team. He set the defense and offense up on both sides. Very heady player, smart, crafty. You just miss his leadership. And you got to have, I think, guys at that point guard position to win a national championship or go far in the tournament. And I think that's one thing that really hurt them.
I agree with everything you just said. I think certainly Danger was worn down. They started to double him and make it a little bit tougher for him. But the loss of Hunter was big. With your knowledge of this team and with your knowledge of what was going on from Colorado State in that game up until that point, in your mind, hypothetically speaking, do you believe if they had Hunter, Memphis would have won the game?
Yes, I think they would have won the game. Absolutely, because he had a scoring punch. And look, that's a lot to ask of Coach J to come in and do that. And he hadn't played, he averaged about 10 minutes a game during the season. Now, all of a sudden, you stick him into a situation where he's got to start in that pressure-packed environment like the NCAA tournament, and he did his best, and he played okay basketball. But, man, you lose Tyrese Hunter to him. I mean, it's just a real setback, and it was a lot to ask of him as well, and he did the best he could, and that's all you can ask. They played hard. It wasn't that. I think this team at Colorado State was a little bit underseeded. I think they were should have been a higher seed to me going up. I mean, you could probably say I guess 6 or 7 range to me. But you look at their out-of-conference schedule and their regular season, they didn't beat a lot of people out of their league. They beat TCU once. They had a pretty good win against them. Ole Miss really handled them pretty well when they came over here. So it was an interesting.
That's why they were that low, man. That's why they were that low, because of that.
Yeah, but I think they were a better team, and I think they gelled, Greg, at the end of the year. I think that's the thing.
I agree.
Look at their streak. And that happens to teams sometimes. They have some pretty good personnel on that team. I really thought that they were better than I was imagining when we went into the game. And, boy, that guard, I mean, he absolutely, I tell you what, you talking about a guy who's a heady player now to be a sophomore. I mean, he really hit big. Evans hits big shots. When they needed one, the Tigers were coming back, he'd answer almost every time. And, of course, certainly we knew that Clifford was a good player. Not one of his better games, but a very solid game. But Evans with 23, a career high, he absolutely bottomed up with 6 threes, and the perimeter defense got him a little bit there. They are a very tough physical team. They had a couple of big guys that really came in and it stretches and went after Danger as well, wore him down. So a very interesting afternoon. The tempo, I think, was in the pace that Colorado State would like to have, and they're a club that really played very hard that day.
How important do you believe it is for them to find whatever it takes to keep Haggerty?
Oh, they have to. I mean, to me, boy, now you guys probably understand this evaluation more than I do. I mean, I'm from the old school, and I can't imagine 1.7 million value for a guy. I mean, that's incredible to me when you think about it. But it's going to take a lot of money to keep him. Now, that's the question. Do you have enough NIL for other people as well? Because there's some holes on this team that have to be fixed. Mm-hmm. I'll be surprised if Danger gets the extra year. Now, according to the rules that are in place right now, he's not eligible to do that. Now, will they make an exception for him? Who knows right now, the way the NCAA is ruling on things. So certainly, if you had a chance to get him back, that would be, I think, would really, I guess you could say, go to the doctor and get a quick cure for some problems you have. But, man, you've got to find some 4 and 5s on this team. You got some big people. Now, you got a couple of guards committed. Now there's talk of Mikey Williams maybe coming back. So, will these two guys, will they end up here? You don't know yet. I mean, so that's a quandary that has to be decided. But, guys, I think the NIL money, the volume and the amount they get is going to be a real key to some of the guys that could come in here.
Absolutely. It's going to be the key. And I've spoken to people in the know, and they feel pretty good right now. We'll see. I mean, it's going to be, as you like to say, real interesting. It's going to get really interesting over the next few weeks. They got players coming in this weekend. They're obviously trying to keep Haggerty. Danger, they're trying to get a waiver for him. I think that's going to fall on deaf ears, but the NCAA in Memphis doesn't have a great history, but we'll see what happens there. So, yeah, and it's going to be like this every year, Matt, putting together a new roster. That's the way it is. But I wanted to ask you your thoughts on Penny hangs his hat on defense. He always stresses defense. How do you think Memphis played defensively? And then in this particular game, it just seemed like with the offense that Colorado State runs, different variations of weaving and the ball distribution around the horn, and then also coming off of 38, 39 different plays that they run on certain sets.
I have a ton of them.
Yeah,
No question about it.
Do you think Memphis was prepared defensively for that offense? Because at times they looked like they were chasing their tail. But overall, what did you think of Memphis defensively?
Pretty solid defensively. I think, that one thing about the three-point line hurt them a little bit, I think, at the end of the year. They defended it pretty well for a lot of the year, but they gave us some big three-point opportunities. It's almost like UTSA kind of shell-shocked them a little bit on defense. So, man, that put them back on their heels, the way they shot the three-point ball down there. And I think a lot of coaches probably were looking at it saying, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go in there, we're going to attack them from the three-point line, and they were able to do that. But you made a great point about Colorado State. That team is very difficult to defend. Medvedev runs a tremendous amount of plays, and my scouting report I got, man, I'm looking at how many plays can they run. It's unbelievable, and they didn't run them all the time. They ran different actions all the time. They run a lot of double drags, horns, and they had diagonals, dribble handoffs. You had to really communicate, and without Tyrese in there to guide that defense a little bit, I think some communication was lost. But other than that, I thought the Tigers played pretty solid defense against a pretty good schedule this year, except at the end when he was not in there. And again, I don't know if fatigue was a factor a little bit on this team at the end of the year, because those starters played a tremendous amount of minutes. And first thing it goes, your legs and defense. That's one of the first things you have trouble with. So that's a good point, Greg. I think sometimes, and maybe if it's a split second, you're not there, or you don't communicate to a guy, and you come off a rub there or whatever, it just takes a couple of things in a game and breakdowns like that to happen. And I thought the defensive action was not as good as the offensive action of Colorado State.
And that you talk about if whatever fatigue, if that was an issue at all or whatever, but some of that goes back to in conference play when you're playing those inferior opponents. It'd be nice to blow some of those out and and give guys rest during the regular season, but they're seem unable to be able to do that.
Well, I think that was a kind of an indication a little bit at the end of the year. Some of those games were closer than a lot of people said. Oh, well, yeah, I understand. You want to beat everybody about, in the league 15 or 20 points if you can, but I think you got an indication of that. And closing games got to be a lot more difficult for them, I think, and maybe that's a number of minutes as well, because your body takes a toll going through this. There's no question about it. And I think, another thing, the psychological part of it, because it bothered me doing the games a little bit. I'd go in, you guys are probably laughing because you get up for some games, you get up for more than others. I'm not trying to, make a big statement here, but, if you're playing Louisville or somebody, Clemson or whatever, you're really pumped up going to doing a game. And you're playing one of the opponents. You're mentally not into it sometimes. I'm not saying you do a bad job. It's not that. But it's just a difference, when you have that schedule. And did it psychologically make them a little lax? You don't know. I mean, that's one of the things. It's an emotional game. College game is certainly an emotional game. Not like the pros, man. You got to play a big schedule and everything else. You got to be mentally tough to do that. The toughness sometimes of teams is tested a little bit when you're playing a schedule that's kind of inferior to you. And is it a natural tendency? I don't know. When I was in high school, we had a tendency to you're playing a team that was 1-15 and playing somebody ranked in the state was a little bit different. So was that part of it? I think it may have a little bit to do with it as well.
Well, Matt, now you have some time to rest. Until next season. We always appreciate your insight. There's nobody like Matt Dillon. He's been around the game and around the University of Memphis for many, many years. This is the Tigers Basketball Report. It's brought to you by Central Barbecue, Binswanger Glass, Colonial Hardware, and Napa Cafe. Again, Matt, as always, thank you so much for another great season.
Hey, Matt, how many years is this now for you doing Tiger games?
53. Started very young, obviously.
Started when you were 3.
He was an embryo. His first year.
53 years.
That's great. God bless you, my friend. Thank you, Matt.
All right, guys. Enjoyed it. Thanks a lot, guys.
Take care. By the way, speaking of the Tigers, I was reading this quote. This came from West Virginia basketball. This was about their hiring of Ross Hodge, Well, I don't know if Penny made this comment or they reached out to Penny for comment. Boy, oh boy, this is great. This is from Penny about Ross Hodge. Remember, the one meeting this year was a real close game here in Memphis. I want to say Memphis won by 6. I may be wrong about that, but it was a real dogfight. Ross is definitely one of my favorite coaches in the country. He is the next big-time coach to take West Virginia back to the glory days of winning and playing in NCAA tournaments. He is arguably one of the best in the country defensively, and his teams will always be a hard out. They are relentless in their effort for 40 minutes. It's one of the hardest teams that I have ever had to coach against because they are so tough. That's some real positive stuff from Penny Hardaway. The question is, well, number one, I would, if he respects him and his defense that much, maybe you take a little bit from the Ross Hodge defense and implement it into your defense, even though the Memphis defense was good, but they could be better. The other thing is, North Texas, that's the worry, too, in this league that's already bad. North Texas, one of the better teams in the league. And that's not saying a lot because they didn't beat anybody non-conference-wise, and neither did anybody else other than Memphis. But if North Texas takes a step back from even where they are now when they had Hodge as the head coach, who's left to even challenge?
Not much.
There's not much, right? I mean, Hodge was a good coach, and I think he will do a really good job at West Virginia. I know it's breakfast time, folks, but before too long, you'll be thinking lunch, what to get for lunch, what to get for dinner. Maybe this weekend you're going to be out and about. Where to stop for lunch or dinner? Corky's. Corky's is a great option. Corky's have been specializing, or been serving up, I should say, and specializing in that delicious, slow-smoked barbecue. The Q, the ribs, the barbecue nachos are out of sight. The wings are terrific. Start yourself off with that cheese and sausage plate. They also have some great entrees outside the barbecue family, like the award-winning catfish plate, tamales, even burgers, amazing desserts. They have specialized in catering their entire 40 years of existence, whether it's a small party of 50 people or a couple of thousand. It doesn't matter. Corky's knows what they're doing. They've been catering, as I said, since they've started serving up that barbecue. So if you want to have them cater an event, they can start you out as low as $7.99 per person. They take care of it. They bring it to you. They set it all up. Just contact Corky's about that. But if you're heading out there for lunch or dinner, Poplar Avenue in Memphis, that's my old standby. Poplar Avenue in Collierville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Pick up a Corky's gift card while you're there. It always makes a nice little gift for someone. Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. All right, we'll preview tonight's Sweet 16 games when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Andy Wise here. For 6 years, I've endorsed Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South as the standard in affordable luxury. Now get this. Pella just got more affordable. 12 months, no interest, no payments on what Consumer Reports has rated the highest quality windows on the planet, plus 50% off installation. That includes consumer guarantees no other window company will ever match. You have my word. You'll make the wise choice when you choose Pella Windows and Doors of Memphis and the Mid-South.
Corky's barbecue. Cooking it up. Down home way. Hickory smoke flavor like the good old days.
Hey y'all, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. With over 175,000 cars served in our drive-thru, 4,000 online pickup orders, and 1,500 party packs delivered to offices and events every year. Corky's is your trusted go-to
barbecue, Southern cooking, and friendly atmosphere in town. Family owned and proud of it. Fat Berries, conveniently located at 7537 Highway 70, just west of Appling.
Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers.
To reveal the full spectrum of dazzling color.
Here once again, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
First game tonight in the Sweet 16, scheduled to tip at 6:09. Although I don't think that they hit the times yesterday, unless this is 6:09. I know they're coming on at 6 with coverage. Actually, pregame probably 5:30, but says 6:09 tip for Ole Miss and Michigan State. Michigan State a 3.5-point favorite. The total 144.5. We had Chris Beard on earlier this week. He has a lot of respect for Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo, who is a Hall of Fame coach, who has one national championship to his name, would love to get a second. Memphis beat this Michigan State team earlier in the year, very early in the Maui, when they started to settle for threes and instead not pound it inside, which they certainly could take advantage of against an Ole Miss Rebels team that's not the biggest team as far as the front line is concerned. How do you see this one? How do you see this one going tonight?
I think it should be a good game. I mean, it's a great coaching matchup. We've got two coaches who are fantastic coaches and know how to coach NCAA tournament. I think, Michigan State is not an overly big team, which is good for Ole Miss to be able to match them. They've got two guards that are freshmen, and so the experience in the backcourt of Ole Miss, see if maybe that they can affect those freshmen a little bit as they try and, the key for Ole Miss pretty much every game is trying to win that turnover battle because they just never turn the ball over. Can they get turnovers out of those freshmen and have the advantage there? But I think it should be a fun game. Should be an interesting game. And again, I think that just the coaching matchup is unbelievably good.
Kentucky and Tennessee go at it for a third time this season. Tennessee a 4.5-point favorite.
Yeah, I mean, without Jackson Robinson, Tennessee, again, if they lose 3 in a row to Kentucky this year, then you're going to wonder, how can we ever, what are we supposed to do against Kentucky?
Mm-hmm.
Tennessee's the better team. They just haven't been able to do it against Kentucky this year. Kentucky seems to shoot the ball extremely well against them. And despite Tennessee being so great on the defensive end, it's going to take another great night of shooting for them to hit. And, for a guy like Zakai Ziegler out there, you just feel like times that he's not going to let them lose. But in most Tennessee games, it comes down to one thing. Is Chaz Lanier shooting the ball well? If he does, they're really hard to beat. If he doesn't, then you certainly can beat them. He's been terrific in the NCAA tournament. Can he continue that tonight against a Kentucky team that's not very good defensively? He'll get his looks, and can he convert them?
Auburn, for some reason, not getting the buzz that they got all season long. I don't know why, but a number 1 seed looking to advance to the Elite Eight. They'll play Michigan, and Auburn's an 8.5-point favorite.
Yeah, that'll come down just like it does with everybody with Michigan. They got the 2 7-footers. You've got, I'm drawing a blank on the kid from Florida Atlantic.
The Golden, the big guy? Golden?
Him with Janai Broom, what happens there inside, but if Auburn's guards can shoot it well, that kind of you kind of know what you're going to get out of Janai Broom, and he's going to be good. It's just, do all those guards start knocking down shots, or do at least they get 1 or 2 of those guards? Is it Pettiford? Is it Miles? Who is it that's going to step up and knock down shots for them? Because when they get it going from the outside, there's really no way to guard them. As long as you make sure Baker Mazzara doesn't do something idiotic and get himself thrown out of a game or something like that. But between Jones and Kelly and Pettiford and all them, they just need 1 or 2 of those guys to be able to make some shots, and then they just become impossible to guard.
And last night, Bruce Pearl and Janai Broom were on the CBS set talking about their matchup with Michigan. And then Purdue and Houston. Purdue, look, I give Matt Painter a lot of credit. He is simply one of the best coaches out there. Yes, they have an All-American in Braden Smith, but some guy named Zach Edey is not there anymore, who won multiple National Player of the Year honors, right? I think back-to-back years. So they've been able to get themselves into this position again, even without arguably the best player in the nation for a couple of seasons. But now they're running into Houston. And the thing I really love about Houston and Kelvin Sampson is, they hang their hat on defense, intensity, physicalness. They've gotten better offensively. They're not this is not Alabama. Nobody's going to confuse them with Alabama. But they got more scorers. They got the more of the capability to win a high-scoring game. How do you see this matchup?
I like Houston, but Purdue is one of those ultimate experienced teams. And if you're going to play Houston and a team as good defensively as Houston is, it's great to have a point guard like Braden Smith. And you hope that he can, kind of control things against their defensive pressure. Trey Kaufman-Renn is going to have to dominate inside for Purdue, and he is certainly capable of that. He's been absolutely terrific. For Houston, does L.J. Cryer, how's he, does he stay hot? He's been seemingly the last month or so just been on an absolute heater.
He's a key.
It's Houston's, in the end, it's going to come down to Braden Smith trying to handle that Houston defense and Kaufman-Renn dominating on the inside if Purdue's going to have a chance.
Elijah, do you have the lower seeds, meaning the worst seeds, with the upset tonight?
I think if there was one, I would go with Ole Miss. I just think they're playing very good basketball right now. Like Eli said, they match up really well against Michigan State on the perimeter. And the way they've been making shots lately, they can contend with anyone. And Michigan State's a team that, as we know, can get into some offensive lulls.
Yes.
I think on the interior, they match up enough with Michigan State's size where rebounding shouldn't be too big of an issue. So I like Ole Miss to actually pull off the upset against Michigan State and advance to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, I think a guy like Diaz is going to be big for Ole Miss because they do match up on the perimeter, but Michigan State has those bigs. Now, again, if they fall into that trap of shooting threes a lot, they're not a great three-point shooting team. They can knock them down. But we saw in that Memphis game out in Maui, I'm going way back to November, but they fell in love with that three-point shot, and it cost them when they could have really banged it inside against Memphis. Tomorrow in the Elite Eight, the numbers are out already as far as the odds. Florida, Texas Tech, that's a 1 versus a 3. That is Savoy versus Seegers. Both your picks for the national championships, right? You picked Florida, right?
No.
Who'd you pick?
Duke.
Oh, okay, I'm wrong about that. But anyway, you picked Texas Tech.
My Red Raiders.
And the Florida Gators are a 6.5-point favorite in that one. And then the Alabama-Duke game, wow. Duke won. Alabama's a 2 seed. Duke is a 7.5-point favorite over Alabama.
Does Alabama have enough threes left in the tank?
What do you think about that line, Eli? 7.5?
I like the over.
That is 174.5. So pretty much same range as we had for the BYU game. But Duke coming off a 7-point win where they did not cover for the first time, I think, seemingly all season in their win over Arizona. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, hour 3, we'll be busy. We open up with 10 in a row. The game show that has swept the nation. The Hall of Famer Joe won last week, so he's ineligible this time around. So jump on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines right now. Don't get shut out. 901-360-8255. We'll play 10 in a row. We'll talk Major League Baseball opening day, and then Brandon Lang will join us to basically put a wrap on this week here on Sports 56 Mornings. It is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
taxes and dealer dock fee of $899.50, which are paid by the consumer. Inventory combined from both Sunrise locations. New 24 Chevy Silverado, stock number RG197130. 8,000 dealer discount, 2,000 consumer cash. Expires 3/31/25.
Hello, sports fans out there. Walker Taylor here with the Germantown and Collierville Commissary. We just celebrated our 43rd year in business, and I would like to thank our fantastic customers and especially our loyal staff. Time has flown by. We now have a second location, Poplar and Houston Levy in Collierville. Catering is a specialty of ours. 50 to 5,000, no job too small, no job too big. Full service or self-service. We also have a party room in Collierville that is great for rehearsal dinners, business meetings, you name it, we'd love to have you. Also, our barbecue party packs start at $8.75 a person. Barbecue, beans, slaw, bun sauce, including serving utensils. Especially great for tailgating the football season coming up. Commissary restaurants also believe in giving back to the community. Possibly you have been approached by somebody selling a barbecue six-pack coupon for fundraising. Cheerleading groups, church groups, anything to help a worthy cause. Holidays are near. Smoked hams and smoked turkeys will be on the pit before you know it. Come see us at Germantown and Collierville Commissary. Also check us out at commissarybarbecue.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. I have been told that my ads are all business and I should share some of my personality. Okay, I love tongue twisters, like the one about the terrific tasting toast by Taste Tester Toaster, or Big Black Bugs, Bleed Blue Blood, and of course Sally and her seashells. Or of course the ever-present I'm a mother pheasant plucker, I pluck mother pheasants. Okay, enough of that. If you want an honest, fair, reasonable roofing, siding, or gutter estimate, call Fiveash Roofing at 367-0050. That's exactly what you'll get. No empty promises, no high-pressure sales tactics, and no fast-talking salesman trying to convince you that today and only today is the best day for you to get a new roof. For the record, the best day to get a new roof is when you're ready for one. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Let's find us through KFA, K4, SDO 87712, MSRP 25320, K5, S53 28285, MSRP 28455, Telluride, SG 596204, MSRP 41060, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 4/2/25.
Hey, I tracked down my buddy Jeff Allen over at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah. Hey, what's up, brother?
We're ready to rock over here, Randy. 2025 Kia K4 LXS, $159 a month with class-leading torque and fuel efficiency. 2025 Kia K5 GT Line, $199 a month. And a 2025 Kia Telluride S front-wheel drive with more power, larger cargo area, and more ground clearance than a Nissan Pathfinder, $398 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease.
Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So if you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
That's Gossett Kia South, 2680 Mount Moriah. Online anytime, KiaMountMoriah.com.
This traffic brought to you by Brinson Tax Service. They protect you like family.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Normally be a little bit heavier than this coming down Bill Morris Parkway right now as you come past Kirby. As that traffic gets a little bit heavier southbound Austin P trying to get up on that ramp there to I-40. Still looks good actually on I-40 westbound from Covington Pike all the way over to Watkins there at the 101 connector. Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters this bridal season that's coming up. Go by and see them this weekend at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis with Dave Woloshin, weekday mornings from 10 to 11. Now back to Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5.
Welcome back, everyone. 9:03 the time, hour 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings, our final hour this week. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, Elijah Seegers with you, broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studios. Their first ever preseason pool, spa, and patio event continues at 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 66 degrees. It's going to get up to 80 today, although the clouds will be rolling in and rain is expected for your Saturday. Jenkins Floors and More is the third hour sponsor of Sports Sports 56 mornings. They're located at 2356 Goodman Road. That's in Horn Lake, Mississippi. They also have stores in Cleveland, Mississippi, and in Little Rock, Arkansas. If you're looking for flooring, for carpeting, backsplashes for your kitchens and bathrooms, ceramic and porcelain tiles, and so much more, they have it for you there. Top-of-the-line material that they sell wholesale, skipping the middleman, saving you lots of money in the process. And if you go with Jenkins, they can get the job done for you in a 2-week turnaround. They'll come to you. They'll bring you samples. They'll give you a free estimate. Again, wherever you are, your home, your office, call them up. They'll come to you. They'll get the job done in 2 weeks. Of course, if you're a do-it-yourself homeowner or a contractor, it makes sense to get your material from Jenkins, top of the line, and you're going to get that with a savings because, again, they won't go through that middleman like a lot of different carpeting stores and flooring stores do. Financing is always available. Give them a call at 662-469-9350. All you Sports 56 listeners, ask about your family discount, military and first responders. You get 10% off. They're open Monday through Saturday. It's Jenkins Floors and more. Time now for 10 in a row.
Not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 in a row.
It's the game show that has swept the nation. It's 10 in a row. It's brought to you each and every week by Napa Cafe.
That's right. Napa Cafe, serving up great food. 5101 Sanderlin in East Memphis. Go by there for a special night out with that private wine cellar. If you're celebrating a special occasion, that is a great place to do that. Or just a comfortable night out with friends. Maybe just want to go sit at the bar, have a drink, and maybe an appetizer or so for happy hour. Whatever it is, you can check out Napa Cafe Wednesday through Saturday. They open for dinner starting at 5 o'clock. NapaCafe.com. You can make reservations, check out the menu, and anything else that you need to know about the place. But they've been doing it now for 27 years, so you know they're serving up great food and a great atmosphere at Napa Cafe. Again, 5101 Sanderlin and online at NapaCafe.com. The winner of 10 in a row will get a $50 gift certificate to Napa Cafe, along with a $25 gift certificate to Putt-Putt Golf and Games, $25 gift card also to one of my favorite lunch places, Fat Larry's Barbecue out in Bartlett, and a couple of Malco movie passes.
Wow, okay, some new prizes joining our list of prizes and our great sponsors over the years for 10 in a row. This is a tough question, and I'm going baseball. We haven't had a baseball question in forever. So all you baseball fans out there, and for those who can Google it very quickly, top 20 active Major League Baseball home run leaders entering the 25 season. So these are all active players. I'm not going to trick you as far as that's concerned. Are they in the top 20 of active home runs? Top 20 active Major League Baseball home run leaders entering the 2025 season. So again, you're looking at players that have been around for a while, and they've had that sustainability, and they've been productive with home runs. 360-8255. That's 901-360-8255. Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines are open if you'd like to play 10 in a row. Top 20 active Major League Baseball home run leaders entering the 2025 season. While we wait for your calls, while we wait for you guys to do what you need to do to try to get this thing correct. I know what you're doing. Let's talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. Yesterday, opening day, and the Cardinals get an opening day win. They knock off the Twins 5-3. Lars Nootbaar with a home run. Nolan Arenado with a home run and then a curtain call. He hit the home run Monday night here in Memphis at AutoZone Park in the exhibition game against the Redbirds. And Nolan Arenado, again, the off-season discussion about trading the guy, he comes through and the Cards get an opening day win in front of what our friend Mike Claiborne said was a sold-out crowd.
Certainly a good sign for them with Arenado getting off to that start. If they do want to trade him, it's good for them to have him have a good year, to up that trade value as much as possible before the deadline when they do eventually move him. So good news for them to have him get off to a good start.
All right, top 20 active Major League Baseball home run leaders entering the 2025 season. That's our 10 in a row question. Again, the prize package?
$50 to Napa Cafe. $25 to Putt-Putt Golf and Games, $25 to Fat Larry's Barbecue, and a couple of Malco movie passes, all for the winner. And leading us off today will be Dan. Hello, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Going well. Pete Alonso.
I'm sorry to hear you, Greg.
Pete Alonso.
Yes.
360-8255. Top 20 active Major League Baseball home run leaders entering the 2025 season.
Next up is Steven. Hey, Steven.
Good morning, fellas.
Morning, Steven. Anthony Rizzo.
Yes.
J.D. Martinez.
No.
360-8255. Like I said, not an easy question. Top 20 active Major League Baseball home run leaders entering the 2025 season. 360-8255. Wide open lines right now on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener lines. I think I scared a lot of people with the Major League Baseball question, but that is the question. Top 20 active Major League Baseball home run leaders entering the 2025 season. I'm not tricking you. All these players are playing baseball this year. And again, either they're in the top 20 or they're not. If they are, it's a yes. If not, it's a no. 360-8255 is the number. As we continue to take your calls, we'll continue to look back at yesterday's highlights of Major League Baseball's opening day.
Technically, Rizzo is not playing baseball right now.
Well, he's included. He's included. So you're right about that. Hasn't affected us yet. Who's next?
Raider Corey is next. Hey, Corey.
Corey, how are you?
Good morning, fellas.
Good
How you
morning.
guys doing?
Doing well. Top 20 active Major League Baseball home run leaders entering the 2025 season. Pete Alonso.
No.
Mookie Betts.
Yes.
Francisco Lindor.
Yes.
360-8255 is the number. Again, not an easy question as we talk Major League Baseball with opening day. So again, you want to jump in, you want to give it a shot, please do so. 360-8255. Some other highlights from yesterday, Major League Baseball opening day. The Dodgers got did they get the rings yesterday? They have the World Series ceremony, I would imagine, right? At Dodger Stadium?
I would assume they did. I don't know.
They win it last night, 5-4, and Shohei Ohtani hits a home run. He hit a home run in Japan in one of the two games. He hits a home run last night. So Shohei Ohtani off and rolling as the Dodgers win over Detroit in a hard-fought game 5-4. You had the debut of Juan Soto for the Mets. And unfortunately, Juan Soto struck out to end the game, 1 for 3, did draw a couple of walks, and the Astros beat the Mets 3-1. I'm sure Soto's going to come through a lot of times for the Mets, but yesterday was not the case as New York loses on opening day.
He's going to go 0 for the season. He's terrible. Guy can't hit.
Well, he's got a hit already. He went 1 for 3, but yeah, they're 0 for 1 as far as the team is concerned. Yankees double up the Brewers 4-2 as Austin Wells hits a home run, the first batter for the Yankees in their first inning, bottom of the first, steps up to the plate, drills a home run. Yankees win that one 4-2. The Orioles hit 6 home runs on opening day. They win 12-2 over the Blue Jays. Cedric Mullins, Adley Rutzman each hit 2 home runs. Good start for the Bashers from Baltimore.
And Tyler O'Neill hit another opening day home run. That's what he does.
That is crazy, is it not? He's done it for 3 different teams, correct?
He's done it for a lot. I don't know.
Cardinals, Boston, now with the Orioles. It's amazing how some teams, you look at the lineup and you go, they don't have any way of scoring runs. And then you have the Orioles who add a big-time bat to their lineup. The Padres beat the Braves 7-4, despite a home run from local product Austin Riley. And your Cubs laid out there in Arizona, late game, knock off the Diamondbacks. Final score was 10-6, I believe, off the top of my head, something like that.
It was indeed. Good night for the Cubs offensively. A couple of defensive miscues by Arizona helped out a lot in that game. But Miguel Amaya, the number 9 hitter, had 5 RBIs in the game. It was a good night for my Cubbies, and they timed it out well because that game ended almost about just a little bit after the Arkansas-Texas Tech game, so it worked out perfectly that once it all wrapped up, I could get to bed.
I mentioned yesterday, or I mentioned, if I could find this, oh boy, where is it? The A's losing to the Mariners 4-2. And not a good day for Brent Rooker, friend of the show, who went 0 for 4. And I don't know why this doesn't expand, but I think he struck out 4 times for the Golden Sombrero. That's what I said when Varlas was on. I'm going to stick by that, but I don't have the strikeouts for whatever reason. So they lost a late game, Oakland. That game was in Seattle, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. That game was played in Seattle. So the A's will sooner than later be playing their first game at a AAA ballpark. That's where their home games will be, as they'll be playing at the Sacramento AAA ballpark for 3 years, does it look like? Unless they move somewhere else, but it's going to take that long for that stadium to be built in Vegas, I would imagine, right? At least 2 years, but probably 3 years. All right, we get back to 10 in a row. We want to give away this prize package. I know it's a hard question. The question again is top 20 active Major League Baseball home run leaders entering the 2025 season. And again, as Eli pointed out correctly, Anthony Rizzo is on this list. It doesn't matter. He is right now technically inactive. He hasn't signed yet with a team, but I'm not put him as an active player, so I'm not trying to trick you at all. Top 20 active Major League Baseball home run leaders entering the 2025 season. 360-8255 is the number. Who's next?
Next up, we have Jack. Hey, Jack.
Jack, what's going on?
Hey, guys.
Anthony Rizzo.
Yes.
JD Martinez.
Yes.
Christian Yelich.
No.
Mike Trout.
Yes.
Jock Peterson.
No.
Paul Goldschmidt.
Yes.
Bryce Harper.
Yes.
Carlos Santana.
Yes.
Andrew McCutchen.
Yes.
Juan Soto.
No.
Good job. Good job, Jack. I'm happy that you nailed it, and we're giving away these prizes. Way to go.
Congratulations, Jack.
You got me with the Ron Soto.
What's that?
You almost got me with the Ron Soto.
Hold on, Jack. Elijah will let you know how to get your prizes.
I feel bad. I got to make them hard sometimes. You guys can look them up real easily, but good job by Jack.
See, the issue people would have with this one, if they look it up, the list would not include Anthony Rizzo and JD Martinez, so it bumps guys down if you're including them.
Yeah, but the way I looked it up was just all-time home run leaders. And so it lists all the guys, and it lists those guys.
But if you're looking up active home run leaders, I'm saying people that do that. Like,
yeah, but
Lindor is number 20, but he would get bumped down if you include Rizzo and JD Martinez.
Yeah, except that when I looked it up, these guys all had asterisks next to them like they were active. So I don't know. That's the list I went with. It didn't screw up anybody as far as that's concerned. But yeah, it was a little misleading. But because I just went with active players, and they all were not asterisks, but bold. They were in bold print. If you look that up, you'll see that. But so here are some of these players. And again, I would imagine Rizzo hasn't announced his retirement, right?
No.
Lindor hasn't announced his retirement. Not Lindor, but JD Martinez.
No, they're just nobody's picked them up.
Somebody will pick them up, but yeah, they haven't announced the returement. It's not like they're for sure.
Some people don't get
done.
to announce their retirement. Some people are just forced into retirement because nobody wants them.
Yeah, but then they'll turn around and they'll want the team to sign them for one. Baseball is notorious for signing the guy for the one day, so he retires as a member of that team. They do that all the time. It's not everybody, I understand that, but so some of these players on this list. Let's see, Bryce Harper. 336 home runs. Nolan Arenado. Yesterday would be his 342nd, which does tie Manny Machado. Some of the guys we didn't get to. Aaron Judge is on this list at 315. Freddie Freeman at 343. Marcell Ozuna at 275. Kyle Schwarber hit one yesterday. Now has 285. Mookie Betts, we talked about him, 271. Rizzo, by the way, 303. Martinez, 331. Trout's got 378. Man, Mike Trout slowed down with those injuries. I thought he'd be over 400. I was surprised to see he was in the threes. There's nobody active that has 400 or more. I think Trout he might be second, but he's at 378. Goldschmidt, 362.
Giancarlo Stanton has 400.
That's guy I didn't use. So he's 400. Where's he at?
429.
429. Yeah, that's one I didn't use. He's number one, right? And Trout's number two. So you're talking about, let's see, it's 22. Yeah, like 51 home run difference between your active leaders. Andrew McCutchen, by the way, 319 home runs. Now back with the Pirates. But guys like Juan Soto, not on that list yet. Obviously, a Shohei Ohtani who hasn't played that long. Jose Altuve is the guy I thought would be in the top 20, is not. But I think he might be over 300. No, I mean, he can't be over 300. I think he's in maybe the 240, 250 range, whatever it is. But anyway, there you go. That's 10 in a row. It's brought to you each and every week by Napa Cafe.
This Sunday, 11 a.m. out at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, the Memphis Showboats will open up the 2025 season, welcoming in the Michigan Panthers. And I have a 4-pack of tickets for Sunday's game if you'd like to go out and catch some football action this Sunday with the Showboats and the Panthers. Caller number 2 at 360-8255, 360-8255. Caller number 2 can get 4 tickets. They are digital tickets that will be sent to you. You do not have to come pick them up. Caller number 2 at 360-8255. 4 tickets for Sunday's season opener for the Showboats as they welcome in the Michigan Panthers. Folks, when it comes to firearms, no better place to go in town than Classic Arms. With over 700 firearms in stock, they've got everything that you could possibly be looking for, everything that you could possibly need. Not only do they have all the best names, but they got the best prices as well at Classic Arms. They can, when you talk about the Berettas and the Benellis and the Glocks and the SIGs and the Colts, all that, Smith & Wesson, they've got all those top names. Not only do they have new guns, they also have used guns, because not only do they sell, but they also buy and trade. So if you're looking to get rid of a gun, they will buy. Maybe they'll trade as well. You can do it all at Classic Arms. 1740 Germantown Parkway. That's where you'll find them. You can find them online at classicarmsofmemphis.com, where you can shop 24/7. They also do free gun inspections and free gun appraisals. If it deals with firearms, they deal with it at Classic Arms. Again, 1740 Germantown Parkway or online at classicarmsofmemphis.com.
You're tuned into Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli. Coming up next, Brandon Lang. This is Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Good morning. Traffic's trying to pick.
Hi, I'm Finley Lavin, defender for University of Memphis Women's Soccer. Southern Security offers the latest in technology with our personal teller machines. Our PTMs allow you to speak in real time with a Southern Security team member. The experience and service you trust and know, delivered at your convenience. To locate a PTM near you, visit us online at southernsecurity.org or call 901-452-7900. Southern Security is a proud supporter of the University of Memphis Athletics and 901 Women. Federally insured by NCUA.
Elwood Shack in the Lowe's parking lot on summer just keeps getting bigger and better. Bigger because now there's a second Elwood Shack at 4040 Parker Plus of the University of Memphis. And better because you can get breakfast every day at both Elwoods. There's the barbecue breakfast burrito, either beef brisket or pork shoulder, and pancake biscuits made fresh daily. Real house-made pancakes, apple and bacon, French toast, and more. And the new Elwood even has a real coffee bar serving fresh roasted J. Brooks coffee. Elwood Shack, now with 2 locations and open every day for you.
When it comes to college basketball in March, bet the unexpected, every upset, every day with DraftKings Sportsbook, the ultimate college basketball destination for March. New DraftKings customers, bet just $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. I love it. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app. The code is HERD, H-E-R-D. $200 in bonus bets, betting just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York,
Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos. Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto. Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
This Rebel Young is back. Online radio show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Nancy Porter with 24/7 Sports. Your Ole Miss defensive captain Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC sports ball, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Garvey will kick off the first round to extra innings. Your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Young Online Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 live 60 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
This traffic report brought to you by Triangle Meat Company, feeding Memphis since 1967. Open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, 4790 Summer Avenue. Trust Triangle Meat Company.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good morning. Traffic's trying to pick up over here with a little bit more volume coming down I-40 westbound from Germantown Parkway down to Sycamore View Road. We've seen a couple of wrecks out here this morning. It's been pretty light, actually, on the interstate on 55 coming up through South Memphis right now. They're at Brooks and Elvis Presley. Weimer's Jewelry is your diamond engagement ring headquarters. Go see them this weekend and shop local at Weimer's Jewelry on Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back, 9:26 the time. Final 34 minutes before we wrap it up and call it a week.
Raider Corey texts and says he's filing a technicality issue with you. But he says it's all good.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can only look up this stuff like everybody else can, and once in a while, things happen. But I'm telling you, I looked the thing up, and it said active players as of March 1st. So, yes, technically, as you pointed out.
Depends how do you define an active player? Is it somebody who's actually on a roster, or is it just somebody who is not retired? I mean, they are not retired, but they are also not on a roster.
No, I went with, my purpose was to have players that were on active rosters. So when I looked up this stuff and it had active as of March 1st, I assumed they were active on a roster. By March 1st, I can't look up every individual. Then I had to go through the top 20. So obviously, if there's two guys that are not active, that would stretch the list. So I'm sure, I'm so glad somebody was able to win without that really being an issue. We didn't get down to the 10th guy, and it became a reason to really get mad. And I'm sure Corey's not that mad, but yes, it was not a great 10 in a row. Corey's a baseball guy. I'm glad that he jumped in on this. Some other folks out there. But baseball, every time I try to go baseball or a little bit off the beaten path of football and basketball, it usually has that type of response, which always worries me. So, we'll make them easy from time to time. We'll make them difficult from time to time, but we always appreciate you guys. We've been doing 10 in a row forever, and we thank all the great sponsors we have had over the years, including our current sponsor, and that's Napa Cafe. But right now, it is time to talk to the one and only Brandon Lang.
It's time to handicap this week's action. Joining Greg and Eli is sports handicapper Brandon Lang, subject of the movie Two for the Money.
I mean, I was absolutely nauseous and ready to literally call for the TV, tracking down the yellow whistle ball bat, just putting the beating up.
Get Brandon's plays at BrandonLang.com.
Yeah, you talking about that.
Also listen to Brandon's betting analysis on the Believe Podcast Network.
Not going to last very long in the NFL. I'm sure people say he will be bad in the league in 3 years. I guarantee it. You heard it here first. He will be gone. I don't know what his dad does for a living, but whatever his dad does, he will go in the family. But now,
here's Brandon with Greg and Eli.
The website, BrandonLang.com. The podcast, the Two for Your Money podcast. He's already starting. And the TV show, Cappers, on the Believe, on the Pluto Network, I should say. He's Brandon Lang, who's already got an issue. What's happening here?
I literally, I got problems. I was listening to I listened to the intro that you have for me. You do this job for 30 plus years, and you develop this hatred for coaches that never learn and do the same thing over and over again. And when they have cost you so much money, and then you're not on the game, and then you watch them do it again, and you're just so happy to see them have to just deal with the misery of how they lost the game.
I know where this is
for
going.
their team. The team didn't lose. Yeah, you're going to use the express in the press conference. I'm so proud of these guys, and I can't get mad at them, and I'm just so proud of them. Instead of saying what the truth is, which is, listen, I got to take ownership of this. I did it again. I mean, you would think I would learn with Memphis being up 9 with 2:12 to go, that I would learn how to coach the game properly, and I didn't do it. And then I know there's a lot of people out there that had us minus 4.5 against South Carolina in the SEC opener, and we were up 18 with 12:22 to go, and I sat there on my butt and watched them go on a 20-2 run. And what was that, John? We didn't score for what? We had 1 bucket in 12 minutes? Yeah, and I didn't take a timeout till the 4-minute mark? Yeah, and we had lost momentum, and we didn't cover the number there. And then, last night I didn't tell my big man on the Texas Tech inbound play that if they run that double-stack pick and the guy rolls to the top of the key and Johnny can't get through that pick, just step out. Just step out and just show. It's called step out and show. You show until the guard can get there. But I didn't coach my big man, and he just stood there in the paint looking around going, well, John, what are we eating after the game? Because I'm going to be a little hungry after the game. And then, that out-of-bounds play that Texas Tech ran there, man, that was brilliant. I think I had 6 seconds on the clock, and we're down 2. I may have been able to run the same kind of inbounds play, but I just don't learn. I just don't learn. And now I watch him suffer all off-season and suffer. God, it was great because my biggest play was Florida. And to watch them, once Kevin Willard was missing the team meal and going to Villanova, like he's a nice guy. But once I found that out on Wednesday night, somebody called me from Philly and said Willard was in Philly. And I go, what? He goes, yeah, he's and somebody went to Villanova who I know through the golf business. And he goes, I got a nugget for you. And I go, what's that? He goes, Kevin Willard's in Philly right now. I go, what? Yeah, he's interviewing for the Villanova job.
It's a bunch of crap. I mean, that's false. It's a bunch of crap that these coaches are doing stuff like that. Now, I'm a Maryland grad, so I'm upset about this stuff. But
you should be, because for me as a handicapper, the last 3 years, I used the tournament as releasing a 200-dime selection. And over the last 3 years, I've had 4 of them, and I've hit all 4. And last night, Florida was number 5. So I'm 5-0. And it was just once that hit, I just said, there's no way. And they played well. They played well for a half, but you could see that it just, you could see it. You could see the body language. It was just.
Brandon, it's almost like getting insider information for stocks, except this is legal.
Yeah. Yeah, it, to me, you said it. And I would be angry because not only has NIL killed and made college basketball the NBA G League, it has made the coaches the same. And now you have to look out for you. That's it. There's nothing. It's like watching Red Storm Rising at Patino and having that booster, the billionaire, who's funding their NIL. And every college needs a booster who's going to fund their NIL. And each kid has a number based on his potential. And it's crazy. And the handicap, and to try to handicap this mess, boy, something else. So, it's college basketball will never be the same, and it's going to be like this until we die, unfortunately.
So there are two games tonight that a lot of folks here in Memphis very interested in. You got Ole Miss and Michigan State to kick off the action, with Michigan State I think 3.5 point favorite right now. What do you think of Ole Miss's chances in this one?
They needed to face anybody but Michigan State. They caught a great break with North Carolina. They got a great break with Iowa State. But Michigan State has three things that Ole Miss struggles with. Michigan State's deep. 9 players go 17 minutes or more. So the reason why they're so good in the second half is that they're so fresh. 2, Michigan State is the number 1 team in the country that defends the 3. So you're not going to get threes on them. 3, what's Ole Miss's Achilles heel? Rebounding the basketball. Michigan State top 15 in rebounding the basketball. So those are 3 things of an uphill climb right off the bat. And then you have Izzo coaching in the tournament. The only guy he can't beat is Mike Krzyzewski. Other than that, he's an absolute beast. And so they've won 10 of the last 11. They've covered 10 of the last 11. I just think the right side of the game is Ole Miss. If Padula goes for 20+, Ole Miss has a chance to win, and they have a chance to cover the number. They're going to need him to play 38 minutes. They're going to need him to have the game of his life against Michigan State that just brings guards off the bench that just have unlimited energy. This is the deepest team Izzo's ever had in his time at Michigan State. And they just lock you down in the second half. Great run for Ole Miss. They've had some bad games this year. They've had some really bad games. They've just gotten blown out of the building. And I'm not saying they're going to get blown out. I'm not saying they can't win. I just think based on the matchup, I just think the right side of the game is Michigan State.
Okay, yeah, you had misspoke earlier, said Ole Miss, but right side is Michigan State. Michigan State laid 3.5. All right,
Yep.
and then Kentucky and Tennessee. Obviously, a lot of Tennessee fans here. Tennessee 4.5 point favorite.
Awful hard to beat a team 3 times. Just is. And I get it. I get they match up well against them, but I just think Tennessee gets them. I don't know why. And Kentucky was really good to me last Sunday. Used them big over Illinois. And I like the job Mark Pope's done. And they're the only team in the country that's beaten Florida and Duke. Only team in the country. That makes them very dangerous. But it's very hard to beat a team 3 times. And I'm impressed with the way Tennessee played Florida in the SEC championship game. They stood toe-to-toe. The whole of Florida's filthy right now. But I just think it's hard to beat a team 3 times. I really do. It just is. Would I be shocked if Kentucky wins again? Not at all, because they can shoot the 3. But I just think John Grisham has to write a different ending to his novel. I think it's time for John Grisham to step up and write a really good Final Four novel. I thought Time to Kill was fantastic. The Firm was fantastic. The Pelican Brief was incredible. The job Grisham has done on the sidelines, it really has. The Innocent Man was fantastic by John Grisham / Rich Martins, but I just personally think that Tennessee's the right side.
Auburn and Michigan. Auburn, the 8.5 point favorite in this one.
Okay. I keep going against the Auburn team, and they just rub their way to cover the number.
Are you in an elevator, by the way? We can't understand you. You're breaking up. Were you on the moon?
No, I'm in the exact same place I've been your radio show all year.
We got to put you on pause. We got to get this straightened out. We're gonna put you on hold for a second and get this thing straightened out because it is not coming in right. All right, so he loves Michigan State minus 3.5, and then he took Tennessee minus 4.5. I could tell you who's rooting against Kentucky for sure. John Calipari. Because if Kentucky loses, they went the same length in the tournament as he was able to take Arkansas. If Kentucky wins, one step further.
Is he better? Hey, Brandon.
You there?
I'm in the exact same spot I always am.
Ain't working.
When I do your show.
Now it sounds good.
It's coming in and out. It's going in and out. Go ahead. All right, go ahead. Go. You keep going against Auburn. Is that what you said?
Yep, and I'm going to go against them again. I'm going to take the points. I think Michigan matched up well with them, and I think the bigs of Michigan are going to be a problem. And I'm going to ride the Big Ten chance getting off those 10. I really am. Until Auburn doesn't cover, I'm going to go against them. Simple as that.
8.5 does seem like a lot at this point. Against a Michigan team that obviously coming off the Big Ten championship, playing very well. That does seem like a lot of points.
Yeah, are you just talking about the points? You're not talking about the money line taking Michigan, are you?
No, I'm gonna take them plus the points in a game that I think goes down to the wire. I really do. Okay. I had Auburn being the first number one seed, just knocked out. I just don't see Houston losing, Duke losing, or Florida losing, and teams have had a chance with Auburn. Look at Robert Morris out of the Horizon League. Stood toe to toe for a while. So I'm gonna. That's actually Robert Morris played Alabama. I just think Creighton had a shot in the second half, and then Steve Ashworth just disappeared. And he's their senior guard, disappeared. Had a chance to cut it to 5 with 1:12 to go, and Kalkbrenner misses the second of 2 free throws, and they just came down and got a 3-point play, and that was it. I think Michigan has the personnel to stand toe-to-toe with them. I'm going to take the points. I'm not going to mess around with the money line, but I like the 8.5, 9.
I bet on Creighton in that game, too, and I'm still mad that they weren't able to cover that because they absolutely should have.
Check this out. Well, Greg McDermott gets a lot of credit for being a great coach. He's clueless. He's absolutely clueless. Connecticut was down 8 with 41 seconds to go and lost by 2. Why? Because twice their freshman came down, and instead of fiddling to the 3, drove in and got a layup. And then finally they missed the link through the line, and they hit a 3 and got it right there. You had Creighton down 8 with 1:12 to go, and Ashworth comes down and jacks up a 3. And that was it. You can't jack up threes at that point. You keep going 2 for 1, 2, and hopefully they miss a free throw. But 1:12 to go, your senior point guard jacks up a 3. That's it. Down 11, game over.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show you, good coaches do not grab the 3 with 1:11 to go. But that's your senior guard who's made one shot in the second half trying to be a hero. The wiffle ball bat. If I'm Steve Ashworth in an airport, I'm chasing him. I'm chasing him, and I'm going to beat him right at the gate. Right at the gate. The rest of it, that's fine. That wiffle ball bat all crumpled. You know how they bend at the end? Yeah, I'd do some damage.
Speaking of good coaches, Houston, Kelvin Sampson, Purdue, Matt Painter. Houston, 8.5-point favorite.
I'm riding them because the same thing goes for Purdue. If that guard doesn't go off, they can't win. And finally, they're going to face a team, not McNeese State, not High Point. They're facing a team that's going to get in that kid's grill, and I think Houston rolls. I just do. I think the run's over from Matt Painter and Purdue.
2 of the Elite Eights are set, so we might as well get your thoughts on Saturday. We know that Florida is a 6.5-point favorite over Texas Tech, and we know that Duke is a 7.5-point favorite over Alabama.
I think the run's over for Texas Tech because if Toppin doesn't go off, they're going to struggle. And I just think that the way Florida's playing and the depth that they have, I think it's a bad matchup for Texas Tech. It's like why I loved Florida over Maryland. To watch Maryland struggle with Colorado State, I was like, there's no way they're beating Florida. And I was really surprised to see Texas Tech struggle with Arkansas. I'm not saying Arkansas is not a good basketball team, but the Big 12 has not showed well in this tournament at all. And they should have lost that game by double. Just once again, John Calipari does not know how to coach in the second half of a double-digit lead. He just doesn't. Waits too late to take a timeout. They lose the momentum, and that's it. And they don't defend the 3. Can't do that against Florida. Florida gets them down by double digits. Florida ain't going to blow that double-digit lead. The other game, don't know yet. Don't know yet. I've gone against Duke 4 times this year, and they've beat me. So I don't think I'm going to touch that game. I'm going to root against them. I want Alabama to hit 33s and spend 2 per play. Yeah, go over the total, whatever it is. I completely agree with you. Over's the play.
and I hope Alabama hits 53s and sends them home. But unfortunately, gun to my head, I think you have to lay it with Duke because they defend so well, and I don't think Alabama has an answer for the two bigs inside. So I think Duke's the right side of the game. The only way Alabama can cover is if they make 15 plus threes.
Which they're capable of, obviously.
They beat me.
Which they're capable of.
They beat me. Check. Give the man his money. Brandon,
Yep.
give some people some money. He has his picks out there. Next Friday when you join us, the Final Four will be set. Have a great week, man. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Brandon. Apologize for the technical issues. That was about up and down. It was either clear as a bell or really, really bad, but I think everybody heard the picks of Mr. Brandon Lang, handicapper extraordinaire. We'll take one final break and come back with our last segment of the week. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Discover your next ride at Gossett Kia on the Pike. You'll find 2025 Kia K4 LXS for less than $5 a day at $159 a month with class-leading torque and fuel efficiency. How about 2025 Kia K5 GT line? We Gossett at $199 a month. 2025 Kia Telluride S with more power, larger cargo bed area, and more ground clearance than Nissan Pathfinder $398 a month. All $49.99 due at signing, 24-month lease. Plus, every Gossett Kia comes with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Call Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online anytime. KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
K4 SEO 87712, MSRP 25320, K5 S53 28285, MSRP 28455, Telluride SG 596204, MSRP 41060, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 895, excludes tax title and license with approved credit, dealer stock only, see dealer for complete details, offer valid through 4/2/25.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. Did you know there are so many roofing companies in Memphis that I don't even know them all? So that begs the question, which one should you choose? So I thought I'd give you a little background about me. My grandfather was a World War II Marine. My father worked for the University of Memphis for nearly 30 years. My mother, a pianist at Raleigh Baptist Church. Seems like forever. I went to Brownsville Road, Craigmont, and Bartlett High School, class of 81. We support the local school systems, youth athletics, and believe in what St. Jude and Le Bonheur stand for. I'm a Tiger and Grizz fan. The point? Memphis is my home. Five Ash Roofing will be around if you ever have a problem with the service we provide. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical, with deep local ties in our community. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing is what we do. We're here for you.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't the only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for a limited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun, 2770 Winton Road, TopGunMemphis.com. Always ship with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
You know, if I had a nickel for every time somebody has recognized me as the spokesperson for Central Barbecue,
one of the spokespersons,
one of the spokespeople, I wouldn't have a nickel because we do these for the radio. But I'm proud to be the spokesperson for Central Barbecue.
One of the...
You know what I mean? I'm proud because all of us who do this have had to do ads for things we didn't necessarily believe in.
Yeah, I know I have.
I know you have too.
Hey.
But we get to tell everyone about Central Barbecue, the best barbecue in Memphis.
In the world.
We are ready to meet anyone on your new Hyundai from Gossett Hyundai on the Pike during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Plus, you get America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Listen to this, Mid-South 2024 Hyundai Venue Limited. We Gossett 22,317. How about 2024 Hyundai Elantra Limited? We Gossett 24,997. 2025 Hyundai Elantra SEL Convenience 25,260. And 2024 Hyundai Sonata SEL Standard 26,353. This is what deals are made of at Gossett Hyundai 1870 Covington Pike. Online, HyundaiGossett.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
25-160. Elantra RU 821-411, MSRP 28-780. Convenience SU 856-185, MSRP 27,020. Sonata RU 415-696, MSRP 29-110. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 895. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Sports 56 mornings on Sports 56. This hour brought to you by James Floors and once again, Greg
Earlier, we were talking about some of the results from yesterday's opening day in Major League Baseball, some of the highlights, and I mentioned the Phillies got a 10-inning win over the Nationals, 7-3. I neglected to mention in that game, Mackenzie Gore, the pitcher for the Nats, the starter, 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 13 strikeouts. And you know, my pet peeve is when you take pitchers out of games. Now, he threw 93 pitches, and he was only through 6 innings. 66 for strikes. But they pulled him. As soon as they pulled him, the bullpen sieved, as is always the case, it seems like. And then the Phillies ended up winning in extra innings because their bullpen, once they got the lead, sieved, and then they scored 4 in the 10th inning to beat the Nationals. But that, you talk about a wasted performance, Eli. Mackenzie Gore, 13 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up 1 hit for the Nats against the Phillies.
Last night, while the Grizzlies were losing in Oklahoma City, the Memphis Hustle down at the Landers Center were picking up a win over the Austin Spurs. They had played on Tuesday night against Austin, who's one of the best teams in the league, and the Hustle got just, quite frankly, embarrassed, got destroyed and played awfully. And Gigi Jackson was terrible in that game, was 0 for 8 from 3, and I think 3 for 13 from the field overall. But everybody played terribly. Then last night they came back and played very well. Good bounce back. I think they were definitely challenged a little bit by head coach T.C. Swirsky after the pathetic performance on Tuesday. Gigi went 9 of 11 last night, 24 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and he was on with us in the postgame. And I've had people keep asking about like why is Gigi down with the Hustle, what all this stuff. So I asked Gigi after the game. I said, "What have the Grizzlies told you? Like what have they telling you? What's the goal about you being here with the Hustle?" And this is what Gigi had to say.
Affect winning. They don't necessarily need me to score. And, it took a little time for me to process that from, coming off the year I had. But our coaching staff has been so in touch with me, letting me know, we have guys that are going to be put in that position to help us win games. How can you affect that? They told me how, my plus minus was not the greatest with the team. So just being able to do those little things, being a great defender still, I got to work on that area. Rebounding the ball is huge, huge. And then just being able to communicate and, body language as well.
And that's the thing. We've talked about this many times. Gigi can score. In his whole life, he's been a scorer. But that's not his role with this Grizzlies team. Not now. Last year it was, because, again, there was nobody else on the court. You could say, Gigi, shoot whatever you want to shoot. This team, he can't shoot whatever he wants. And as he said, it's taken him a little time to process that and figure that out. Like, wait, it's a different world now. I'm out there with John Morant, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson. I'm not number one option, which he's been literally his entire life. He's played basketball. He's probably been number one option on his team, and no coach cared whether he played defense or not because they relied on him to score. So now he's got to figure out, and it's hard. I mean, he's only 20 years old, which still blows my mind that he's only 20 years old. He's got to figure out just what he said, like, how can I affect winning without scoring 25 points a night?
Look, I'm sure this has happened a lot to players who've come into either college from high school or the NBA from college, and they were the guy. They were the scorer. And they have to be told differently that, no, we got guys. We're not saying don't shoot the ball, but you got to do things and be better at doing things to help us in other departments, rebounding the ball, playing better defense. And to me, just listening to him, as you said, 20 years old, it's one answer to one question, but it sounded mature. It sounded for me just listening to it for the first time. You were interviewing him. You saw his facial expressions. I can only go on what he said. It seemed like, one, it was a really good answer. It was a mature answer, that he gets it, that he understands it. Is that the feeling you got out of that?
I said after the interview that I thought he has been humbled. I don't think there's any doubt he's been humbled by this.
Right.
I don't think in any way he was expecting, as Eva said after the year he had last year, that he would be back down with the hustle. Again, the Grizzlies elected to play with 11 healthy bodies the other night rather than bring Gigi out there. They said, no, you stay with the hustle. But they're sending the message. I think he's been humbled, but I think he also, I think I even after the interview used the word mature. He sounds, he's still Gigi. He is, I would talk to him after he is, because like the whole conference, we talk about him trying to dunk on a guy and he got hit in the face and he's talking about the spit that went flying out of his mouth. Like he's great. He's entertaining as heck and he's fun and there are times he reminds you that he's 20 years old.
Yeah, don't change that. Don't change the personality.
But I think this has just humbled him and I think now he understands like, yes, okay, because I thought Scottie Pippen Jr. was an elite scorer in college basketball. Great college basketball player. Couldn't get into the NBA. Realized, wait, if I play really hard on the defensive end,
right,
there's
perfect
a role
example.
for me.
Yeah.
And he went to summer league and he played his rear end off on the defensive end, just went crazy on the defensive end. And it turns into a contract with the Grizzlies. And now he's playing well. And I've talked about this before. There's a million guys in the NBA that can score. If you're trying to get into the league and you're that borderline guy, they need to see you play defense. If you're the 12th guy on the bench, they don't need you to come in and score. They need to know you can come in, play defense, get a rebound. John Conchar will hang around the league for a long time. Not because he can score,
rebounds.
Because he'll do everything else. Like you can trust him when you put him in a game. You can just trust that he's going to make plays that are going to help you win the game. And Gigi's just got to figure that out. How can he do that without being the big-time scorer when his whole life, his role on the court was to just be the big-time scorer?
Although the last 6 minutes of last night's game, they could have used some scoring from Gigi Jackson or anybody else because it was a 28-5 run that ended it for Oklahoma City. They win 125-104. And speaking of offensive ineptness, at least for this game, I could not believe when I saw the box score at the end that Des Bane had played 32 minutes and scored 3 points. He was 1 of 12 from the field. But Pippen, as you mentioned, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, did turn it over 7 times. Tripp at 27 points. But again, they conclude a road trip at 1-4. And now tomorrow night, the Lakers. Monday night, the Celtics. Tuesday, the Warriors. It's going to be pivotal that all these guys step up. And in the latest injury report, John Morant, Taylor Jenkins saying he's day-to-day in his next phase of rehabilitation from the hamstring injury. He's progressing in workouts. He's working his tail off. He's getting close. But I would be very surprised if you see him tomorrow night.
I've got another 4-pack of tickets for the Showboats opener on Sunday, 11 a.m. kickoff Sunday out at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. First caller can have them. 4 tickets, 360-8255, 360-8255. Again, these are digital tickets that I will send to you. You don't even have to come pick them up. 4 tickets, 360-8255.
We'll be back Monday starting bright and early at 7 a.m. Matt Reiser will join us at 9:05. Tigers baseball coaches. He does every week. The Tigers and Charlotte, a 3-game series at FedEx Park, Avron Fogelman Field, begins tonight at 6:05. Our thanks to John Varlas, to Matt Dillon, to Brandon Lang for joining us on the program, and a big shout out to you folks for listening, your calls, your texts. We always appreciate it. Waldo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. For Eli Savoy and Elijah Seegers, I'm Greg Gaston. Have a great weekend.